Okay, people are in a waiting room. I will not accept yet.
Can you send me an email or something so I can?
Can you go in the community? Whoops. Okay, go check in the community. Yeah. Preparing to live stream, it says. I'll accept the 11 people right now. What is happening? Hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Uh-oh, I'm seeing freezing. Oh, no, it's a picture. I thought it was you for real. All right, guys, we're just going to give it a quick minute. Why am I not here? Yeah, I am on camera.
There we go, Steve.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm good. And yourself?
Fantastic. So we're just going to take a few minutes here as people start logging in, and we're going to get going, man. I got some pretty exciting stuff for us. All right. All right, guys, we're going to get started in just 1 minute. If you're not hearing me, I had muted myself. So I'm just letting people come in. I am making sure that I get my lovely Crystal over here as a host, because once I get going, I will not be able to control invitations as people are coming in. So now I'm looking for you. What is your name, Crystal, in here? Vince, Doug's. Oh, I got a lot of people I recognize in here, but I don't see you. Oh, Steve Martin. No, that's me. So 1 other minute, guys, and we're going to get started.
You could just send me an invite.
Would you be owner? There's a name that says owner.
No, that's probably you. I'm not sure what list you're looking at, but I don't know if I'm on that list.
Well, are you logged in on Zoom?
No.
Oh, we'll go on Zoom.
Why not? Okay. Yes, I will.
We're going to have a marital dispute here live in front of everybody. Everybody better agree that I'm winning this. So 1 more minute, guys, and we're all going to get started. I love it, Jason. Here to buy U.S. real estate. Yeah, baby.
Recording in progress.
Will, how you doing, buddy? Long time, man. I am loving this. There's Crystal.
I'm also labeled Steve.
How's it going, buddy? Oh, I think you're either muted or something's up with the sound. But don't worry about it, my friend. Jerry, what's up, buddy? We'll talk later, Will. Now I want to make Crystal as a host. Make host. Change. Oh, I don't want to change host.
Or make it mini.
Yeah. Mark, make host. Ask to start video. So 1 quick second, folks, and we will get there. Now, if I do change host, you may have to put me back because I think this is change and not.
Stay co-host, it says.
I can do that?
I just put stay co-hosting.
Oh, okay. So then are you able to accept people? That's all I'm really caring for. You see how there's a waiting room? You have that ability? Because if you're good, then let's get this party started. All right, my friends, what is happening? So I'm doing a Zoom meeting here, but everybody that knows me, I am so immersed in teaching and content. I'm going to have I have a hard time staying on track with a PowerPoint presentation. So no laughing too much, please. But if I start reading comments as I'm going, I'm going to be lost and we're going to be here for 12 hours. So I say I share my screen. We get started. Please go ahead, put comments. Crystal is here to help me. If you need clarity or anything, Crystal will be going through it, and Crystal, interrupt me if it's a question you think is relevant, needing clarity or anything like that. And so let's share my PowerPoint presentation. Crystal, do we see my PowerPoint? Fantastic. There we go. Okay, where's my clicker? Nope, clicker's not going to work on me. Hold on, let me try that again. Hey, look at that. So we have a very, very huge, heavy agenda for today. But I am, with all my heart, encouraging as best as I can for you to stay with me so that I can show you step by step exactly what we're doing today. So the presentation that I am showing, I've got two types of people right here on the presentation. Number one, I've got my challengers that I'm calling them. They're the individuals that have followed me since last Saturday, where I have been breaking down step by step what I would do in 2022 if I was to start a whole brand new business. If I needed cash flow, we know how the world is messed up right now, extremely messed up. I don't want to talk about it, but if there's something that I have noticed over the past 2 years, and it doesn't matter if you're Richard Branson or you're somebody working in the hotel industry who are getting hit and bombarded the worst, or restaurants or gyms, just business owners and employees, we're all feeling it. And it's been one of those where it's tough because it's the uncertainty that's killing us right now. What if a new variant comes out? Are they going to make more mandatory shutdowns or whatever? And this is across the world right now. So I put it upon myself in December to put a challenge together where I could break down what's going on in the economy. And it's not my opinion. I could care less about anybody's opinion on the state of the economy today. I look at statistics, I look at facts, I look at data, and more importantly, I look at what has been happening in the past. I went as far as 33,000 years ago when we were hunter-gatherers, and then the entire economy changed when we developed the skill set of farming, agriculture. Because we were us as humans were very nomad. We would, move from one location to another depending on our food sources. And then we created a new economy where we identified we were able to grow things in the earth. And all of a sudden, cities started being created because we were no longer moving all around. And then we can fast track extremely fast to about the we can go to the Roman times, one of the biggest empires that controlled the massive European continent, really. And we see how they developed currencies and how they were the first really to popularize an empire completely collapsing. And studying why the empire collapsed leaves clues for us to identify throughout history from 2,000 years ago to now all of a sudden 120 years ago, we started in the industrial stage. So, or era. What did that do? What were the consequences? How did that change the economy? How did that change human psyche? And what happened in the 1920s? We've all heard the Roaring Twenties. I'm trying to make this as brief as possible to be able to really get you guys to understand that everything I'm going to be showing has been proven through time and time again. History leaves clues. History is the way we are capable of identifying what is going to happen next. I'm going to give you guys a really big indicator. During a pandemic, when the world is locked down, real estate prices, stocks, crypto, NFTs, any kind of asset class is not supposed to rise, folks. It's not. Just think logically. We're all at home stuck, uncertain if our job is going to be there, uncertain if our for our safety, we're getting either forced or we're not supposed to be growing. And to me, that became a huge problem because I wanted to identify, what does this mean? What does this mean for everybody that's holding their money right now in the stock market through their retirement funds, whether it's their IRA in the US or your RSPs in Canada, your tax savings? What is going to happen to that money? We also keep hearing about the inflation in the US. It went up 7%. It went up about 4.8%, I believe, in Canada. And how, first off, total bullshit, because they have readjusted how they are calculating what the inflation is. Go to the gas station right now and tell me it only went up 7%. Go buy some steaks and tell me it only went up 7%. Try to get a piece for my darn dishwasher without being forced to purchase another one. At what price, if you can even find it? So there's so many things happening in the economy right now, but we, number one, want to identify, what does that mean for us today? But more importantly, what are the steps you can take to protect yourself now? And that's why I created this challenge. So what we're doing today is really summing up. We concluded our challenge, and everybody that is part of the challenge, I hope you got my email yesterday. We will be talking about financing, raising private money, how to find investors next week. Okay. I know it wasn't in consecutive 7 days. I know you guys understand. We've already chatted about it, but I have not forgotten about you. Okay. So today the goal is to really talk about what is happening in the economy. What does it mean for you? What are the key indicators, and what should you be doing to take control of 2022? I would have loved to do this a little earlier. We're already done in January, almost. We'll be done, I think, on Sunday or Monday, whenever February 1st is. But for the right now, how can we take steps to protect our future? And we can go all day long on what is the best investment vehicle. I can have the biggest debates in the entire world. Oh, crypto's the future. NFTs is the future. Real estate is fantastic. Stock markets always go up. But so did Japan think that in the 1980s. And when the crisis happened in 1990, everything collapsed and their economy is still not back to the top. And we're going to talk about that because that's a long-term debt cycle. And they've had to do a deleveraging of the entire economy. And if you look it up, they're in the lost decade for the third decade in a row now. They just have not been able to recoup. And if you look at the statistics, they're exactly where we are today. So when I say we, the royal we here, yes, I'm talking about the world, really. But I'm mostly talking about America because that's where I like purchasing my real estate. Okay. And then second, I'm talking about Canada. Canada's in a top, it's in the top 3 worst economies right now, or worst high leveraged economies, even worse than America. Okay. But what I was going to get to is I want to show you how it works and what to do to protect yourself. Oh, and what I was going to get to is I don't want to entertain the battle of cryptos. Yes, I invest in crypto, but the difference between me and a lot of people is, for me, it's money that I could afford to lose. I don't care. It has not gone through its dot-com bubble yet. What just happened now, and now it's regaining momentum, has yet to correct itself properly. Why do I sweat when I talk? I feel like I'm going through a workout right now. Woo! So what I'm getting to, my conclusion, is I can put side by side every single asset class there is. I will share the real estate cycles over the past, well, since 1890s. But no one in the world can show me a better chart. You know how you look at stock market charts, you look at real estate charts, commodities charts, if you're to look into commodities, gas prices, corn price, any kind of Bitcoin, NFTs, anything, gold, silver, assets, classes always fluctuate. I want you to look at the rental chart. Look at what rents have been doing since the 1800s. The only correction I can identify, and I hate that I don't have it in front of me right now, I posted it in our community a long time ago, but rents have never, ever, ever gone down. Ever, folks. In 2008, I have a chart since 1940s, rents, the average rent was $27 a month. With inflation, of course, prices continuously go up. The only correction you will see in rents is in 2008. And the correction, the line is like this. All you see is it goes like this and then goes back like that in 2010. So the correction was so slight, so slight. So anybody that wants to tell me there's a better investment than real estate, show me the chart, show me the data, show me the facts, period. Yes, real estate prices fluctuate, but if you hold, you wouldn't even know the bump. You would never know. So my second goal today is I want to talk about the current state of the economy. It's terrible. I think I'm done. We've already talked about that. And I want to talk about real estate cycles. But more importantly, I'm going to share something that I've never shared before. Quite a few things, actually. Three major things I'm going to share with you all that I've never even shared with my platinum students in the past because I didn't have the knowledge and wisdom 10, 15 years ago. So what I'm going to share is what market indicators do I use, whether it's conscious or unconsciously back in the days, to pick whether I'm going in a sexy market, in an emerging market, and what strategies to use that will be able to explode the most over the next coming 10 years, okay? So how to use data to make the best investment decisions for yourselves. And I'm gonna show you guys a chart of what acquisition strategies, what funding strategies, and I didn't finish my sentence, folks. I did this PowerPoint presentation in the last 2 hours, okay? Because you know it's all here. So there may be a little mistakes, and please focus on me. There'll be spelling mistakes. Don't let it bother you, okay? So the last one is exit strategies. So what acquisition, funding, and exit strategies you're gonna be doing. And most importantly, this chart that I'm going to show you is so huge. I can tell you within a 3-minute time frame what the top 10 markets are right now in America because of my sheet that I'm going to share with you. I have not shared it with the challengers, nor my gold or platinum or whatever programs. This is brand spanking new to even I. Because I'm in a position right now where my son is here with us on Zoom right now, hiding in there, and he wants to start buying real estate. So what I'm going to show you right now is what I am taking on as of February 7th to show him step by step by step in 6 months how to create $5,000 to $10,000 per month with zero money. He ain't getting mommy and daddy's credit card. He ain't getting my connections. He's going to be an absolute nobody, starting from scratch, and he is turning 14 years old on February 11th. So everything I am showing you, I have developed for him. And my daughters will be able to use it in a couple of years when they as well start showing me interest in wanting to build a business. Because between you and me, as much as I sell financial freedom and independence and building generational wealth, and more importantly, building a legacy for your family, I ain't giving a penny to my children, and they know that. It is going to my charities. It is going everywhere, because the statistics on people that are very wealthy don't grow up with the same values and manage to destroy everything because they don't understand the value of work. So anyways, so I'm going to be showing you what I'm showing my children, okay? So this event, whatever we want to call this, whether it's a webinar, a meeting, or whatever, is designed to be able to help you, whether you have disposable money to invest and you want to protect it because the inflation is eating it away right now. You lost at least 10% of your money and purchasing power if you left your money in the bank account last year. It is terrible what's happening in the economy and how it's eating away at our money, okay? So whether you do have money, I'm going to show you what I would do immediately. And most importantly, if you don't have money, exactly what you should be doing and exactly what I'm going to be showing my son, okay? So that's really our agenda, because we're going to open up the computer and go live together, okay? My goal is to find 5 deals that'll give me at least $1,000 per month each month. After month after month, I'll show you the strategy, the market, how I identified it. You're literally going to see me doing it live, okay? No, I'm not going to be calling people because we'd be here for a week, but I'm going to show you step by step what the crazy cash flow potentials are immediately. Because to me, no one is going to tell me I have to work from home. No one is going to, and I'm not getting into lockdown mentality. What happened to my face? Oh no. Ah! Oops, you just saw my secret. Look at this. Crystal convinced me to put makeup today. Yeah. Anyways, so we're going to be doing this live together, okay? What I was getting into is cash flow is everything, guys. How has my life changed in the past 2 years? You know, I had a huge construction company out in Phoenix. We were renovating 90 units per month of our apartment complexes. 90 per month. That is a mega corporation. Then we had COVID hit. And between you and me, I already had a very hard time managing my staff when I was there on site. You can only imagine remote. So I did the tough decision of shutting it down. But what did it do to my lifestyle? I came back to Ottawa. It's a little colder, but that's it, because every single month I've got cash flow coming in, okay? And that's what I want for you. When you have cash flow, you have the power of decision. You have the power of making and controlling your future, period. So the most important thing, I think, for me, though, so yeah, that was the agenda of everything I'm going to be doing. But I think the real important thing for me is I want to give you the real knowledge. What's really happening? I don't want you to go on YouTube and look at all these people thinking this is what may happen because Zillow just predicted it or blah, blah, blah. I want to give you concrete information that you can turn around and use for yourself, for your business if you're a business owner, for your assets if you are already an investor, or if you're just starting off, what strategies you should be using going into this, okay? I want to give you confidence as well. I really, really want you to really have the certainty and confidence that you can do this, okay? And I want to give you a plan, a blueprint. This is the step-by-step of what we're going to be doing. Now, I've warned all of you, I am planning on doing this for about 3 hours, folks. This is a live afternoon that we're doing this together. I know we have a life. I know we all may have some stuff going on, but folks, I'm looking to change your life here, okay? And I'm committing myself to be able to do that in 3 hours. I'll try to make it as entertaining as possible. But I'm not a comedian here. I'm here to really give you the good content and what to be able to do. So I think, I'm missing a slide. At the end of this presentation, only at the end, only for the people that are committed to staying and prove to me that you will be here the entire time, I will give you the PowerPoint slides. I will give you my Excel spreadsheet that I created. If you would hire a research firm to be able to give you the data and the spreadsheet, I'm going to give you, it'd be way more than $3,000 itself. And I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the deal funnel. You'll see exactly, every time you come across a deal, what strategy should you be using based on your own personal situation, okay? And then my new evaluation sheet. So they're really powerful tools. So I am going to give this to you, but I'm not going to give it to a quitter. I'm sorry, okay? I know we all have things going on here, but I warned all of you 3 hours. So let's do this. So here's a shocking fact. We know 2008 changed the entire world. We know it was destructive. And I've shared these stats with you challengers. I know there's a lot of repetition because this week we've spent over, how many hours this week together? About 10 hours live. So there'll be a lot of repetition, but guys, repetition is the key, okay? Until you can regurgitate it and by heart. I want this knowledge to be so in your head that you can go for a beer with your buddies. You can go drink some wine with the gals and to be able to really explain verbatim as if I'm saying it. I want you to be able to turn around and explain it, because when you're looking to raise money, when you're talking to a landlord who's really considering renting out the property to you so you can turn around and put it on Airbnb, or if you're talking to a homeowner that is looking to sell or finance you, you need to know your stuff. So I am repeating, but it is so important. So this is the curve of what really happened in America in 2008 for the crisis, okay? But these are your sexy markets. So just for everybody, if there's anyone that's brand new here with us, guys, sexy markets versus emerging markets. A sexy market is a market that everybody wants to go into. Your Floridas, your Phoenix, your Californias, anything that's on the coastal, on the oceans, markets that are just has pizzazz is amazing. Those are your sexy market. When you go to the grocery store and you say, I'm investing in out of state real estate, if you're American, or you say, I'm investing in real estate in the US, if they tell you, oh, you're investing in Florida, no, I'm investing in the US. Well, Florida is a sexy market. So it's what the average uneducated person would want to go invest in. Now, don't get me wrong. My real estate in Phoenix quadrupled since I purchased it with the data that I'm going to be sharing with you today, okay? So sexy markets have their place, have their time. Right now, we're sitting at the top peak, and I'm anticipating over the next year to 2 years, everything's going to collapse and everything's going to crash as long as they don't keep stupidly printing money, which they have to, as I'll explain to you, they have to stop. But it is not time to invest in a sexy market, but gosh darn it, is it time to invest in emerging markets? Is this the slide that I wanted? No, this is the slide I want to show you guys. Again, guys, I'm trying to, keep the momentum going here because I want to make sure we have enough time to find those deals. But this slide here, I want you to really look at. These are markets that never saw a correction in 2008. Look at the curve. Okay. So if you look right here, this is when the markets start, the prices, if we go back, okay. I'm sorry, I'm moving a lot on you guys here, but, and Crystal, we got a confirmation that my screen is being shared, right? I'm not being an idiot here. Fantastic. Okay. So you see here how this, what market am I looking at here? Charlotte increased and then started decreasing at the peak, right? The peak is around, I think the official peak is somewhere in 2006, maybe the end of 2005. I can't remember the exact date. It's maybe written here, but whatever. So you see how there is a correction and it crashed, okay? It crashed a little bit. If we look at the rock and roll markets, check this out. Look at what market am I looking at here? LA. Look at LA. It was booming, and then look at this, kaplang, it crashed 30-some%, I think, 35%. Now look at these slides. Look at these markets, guys. These are markets. Pittsburgh gained. My goodness, I got too many buttons here. Pittsburgh gained, increased in price during the recession. Oklahoma City, Dallas, they pretty much everywhere in Dallas, all went up in price. There was an adjustment, but they all grew up in price. Can I have a napkin of some kind? I'm like in a workout right now. My heart rate is going 145 beats a minute. Yeah, exactly. Crystal's not going to complain. Hey, more webinars, Steve. You're working out. So I just wanted to show this right here so that you can really gain an understanding. Thank you so much. I know this is gross, guys. I told you, you're coming in my house and we're just going to chill together, okay? So what I'm getting at is you could have known this. We invested. I had some past gold students here that I saw. I mean, just right now I see Jerry and I see a bunch of people. We went to Charlotte because we knew it was an emerging market, right? Over here. It did have a correction. What was the correction of Charlotte? Yeah, I did go down 16%, but we went in 2012. Look at this. We went when we knew it was going to start exploding in prices. And then it gained since then 60%, friends. Okay, folks. I'm too much with the kids. I say friends all the time. So you see here with data how you can identify these markets. So here's what I want to talk about briefly. How does the economy work? So for everybody that's been following me, I've been teaching for over 15 years now, okay? And this was one of my biggest talks, emerging markets, how to identify the best markets in the US. But I was always focused on short-term debt cycles. I was always identifying from buyer's market phase 1 to buyer's market phase 2, seller's market phase 1, seller's market phase 2. For all you visual people, I do have a slide. I will show you that, okay? But that's as far as I would go. Over the past 5 years, I would probably say, 2016 is the exact date, because I really started understanding more than just market cycles. I started studying the economy, how it worked. Why do interest rates matter to control inflation? When does the Federal Reserve or central banks start using those tools to stimulate the economy? So all this being said, I want to break down very briefly, no challengers. It will not be 3 hours like last time. It took me 3 hours to explain this for the first time. And I was telling them, knowing something, doing something, and teaching something is completely different, right? So I'll make sure to keep admitting, Crystal, I'm seeing a waiting room here. I just took it out. So anyway, so the economy, okay, how does it work? So too many buttons. Hold on. Screens and buttons. There we go. Hey, dogs, not time to fight, please. Thank you. The economy, how does it work? Very simple. Spending, guys. The more you spend, the richer you are making somebody. It is that simple. So if I am a buyer of a product, a service, or an asset, and I am spending money, I am creating a transaction. And as I'm creating a transaction, let's call this person here Susan, and this is Tom. Susan goes to the store and buys bananas. She buys her groceries. Tom owns the store. If Susan goes to the store and purchases food, what happens to Tom? Tom's wealth increases. So anybody's purchase creates somebody's wealth. Super important to understand. That works for government, that works for businesses, that works for people like you and me, human beings. Transactions is what thrives an economy. The more transactions that happen within a specific market, right? So if you take a look here, there's a market for real estate. There's a market for electricity. There's a market for fish. There's a market for sugar. There's a market for fruit, gold, milk, water, syrup, coffee, clothing. Anything you can imagine has its own market. And within its markets, it has its cycles, okay? Well, every single market survives, thrives, or gets deprived and crashes with transactions. So the more I spend, the richer I am making somebody, and the richer that person becomes, the more he or she is hiring employees, the more he or she is also turning around and going to spend, right? So you see how it's kind of, I think self-fulfilling prophecy is the wrong word or wrong term, but it is just a machine that gets created by itself. Susan gave money to Tom. Tom became wealthier because he's got money. Tom turns around and goes over to Bob to get an accounting service or whatever. If he was an accountant, his choice of clothing isn't that great. But you see where I'm getting at here, okay? The economy survives on transactions, survives on people spending. You see where I'm getting at here with all this money that's been printing lately. Prices have been going through the roof on assets, on goods, on services. Everything has been going up. And that's because we artificially inflated the economy by printing money and giving it out to the general public. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I just want you to start really thinking, how does this all come into play, okay? And yes, it will matter. So if we lived in an economy where we only had cash, this would be the perfect line. The economy would continuously go up in a straight line. But would it be as high as we can see it right here? The answer is no. We can say that if we only survived on cash, we would be more like an economy in a developed country where access to credit is limited and the amount of spending is just reliant on everyday needs and what people really need to survive in third world economy. But in a world like we are, we have another important element to throw into the mix, which is credit. So if we take a look, this here, it's not 100%. Like I can't remember. I did this like a year and a half ago for a company that I was consulting. And they were asking me, you know, what's the economy and so on and so forth. And what I did is I peppered, the red is the real estate markets. Behind you've got light blue. I hope that the quality of the video is a little better than what we're used to. Sorry if I stream it on Facebook or whatever, it's crap. But again, I'm going to share these slides if you stick to the end. So don't worry, you can really look at it, but you can count up to 20 plus recessions, including the Great Depression, right? The Great Depression was right here. But see, my dates aren't lining up because I kind of squeezed it to make it fit and it kind of moved my lines across. Okay, so don't take this for 100% face value, but you understand that markets are cyclical. And if you get to understand how the economy works, you can predict these cycles within a 2 to 3 year time frame. What I was going to say earlier is around 2016, I really started studying the economies, and I went as far back as Roman times, because Romans killed themselves by deflating with inflation by literally, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, the war and everything, but the biggest aspect was that they started with 100% silver coin, and 100 years later, there was maybe less than 5% silver in the coin. So they diluted the silver, which was, I was going to say modern day, old age inflation. Okay. So anyways, you see here the curves. Why is there such drastic curves? And that's what I really want to talk about. So the curves that we're seeing are right here. Okay, so this would be the perfect curve if we lived in an all cash society. But we don't live in an all cash society. In a developed world, we have credit. So this is more the realistic cycles. So there's three main things we need to use as a focus when it comes to identifying emerging markets. You need to identify what is the productivity growth. I'm going to drop that. It's just transactions, okay? Because we're not in a developing country. In a underdeveloped country. We're in a first world country. So you have the productivity curve, but most importantly, you have the short-term debt cycles, okay? But what's important to understand is every time there's a cycle, the bottom of the market is always a little higher than the original point. So see what I mean here? This would be the bottom. This would be the top. But look at the bottom over here, right? It's higher than the bottom from a couple years ago. And if we go back to my slide right here, after the Great Depression, everything reset. Around 100 years, you've got your long-term debt cycle that I'll show you. But if you take a look here, we came back to almost zero during the Great Depression. Then we went up, crashed. But look at the up. It's a little higher, then a little higher, then a lot of in the 60s. And then, of course, went crashing again. And then the bottom is still a little higher and a higher and then higher. And then today we're just at an absolute absurd level. But because of the way our society revolves around the readily available credit, every 100 years, every new generation, there is a massive, I was going to use the word reset. I do not want to use that word because that could lead to other things that's being talked about, and that's not my point at all. But everything comes back down, okay? So let's talk about credit because it is the reason we have to recycle or we go through recessions. It is the only reason, okay? So what you have to understand is if we remember Susan and Tom, and I think I called him Bob, the little blondie guy, they were going out to purchase something. Every transaction makes somebody wealthier. But did Susan pay cash or did she pay with credit? 70% of people pay with credit card, okay? So what I need to make sure everybody understands is Tom, when he was taking someone's money, did Tom care if Susan was paying cash, credit card, or whether it was cash or credit? The answer is no. Tom did not care because credit in a transaction immediately turns into cash. So not only is credit treated like cash, it is created out of thin air. Okay, very important. So Susan is capable of spending money and making Tom, Bob, and everywhere she goes to purchase richer. Okay, so let's remember that part. So when she goes to the store, she's paying in credit, but it automatically turns in cash in Tom's hand. Tom turns around and he goes to the store to purchase for himself. Is he going to use the cash that Susan gave him? No, he's going to use credit as well. Okay, so we live in a society where people borrow. We conduct transactions. People conduct transactions. Businesses conduct transactions. Government conduct transactions. Okay, super important. Now, what is most important of this all is how interest rates and the printing of money play a huge part in this whole economy. Okay. Oh, I'm forgetting some slides here. I'm going to go back to a curve just so that I can show you visually. Okay. I want you to imagine, sorry guys, I want you to imagine, my hands are sweating and I can't move my mouse. At the bottom, Susan is right here. Okay. And Susan sees that she qualifies for credit. She got a new job. She qualifies for credit. She goes to the bank. Bank gives her 10 grand in credit. As human beings, what is Susan going to do with that cash? Please be honest. We are idiots. Human beings have very little capability of controlling their spendings. So she's going to go out and she's going to purchase something. She's going to give it to Tom and so on and so forth. But here's what I really, really need you to understand. When she takes that $10,000 loan, line of credit, credit card, she is immediately creating a cycle in her own life. Why? When she borrowed that $10,000, what does she automatically know? There will be a time in the future that I'm going to have to pay back that loan. If I have to pay back that loan of $10,000 in the future, usually 5 to 10 years, what's going to happen in 5 to 10 years to her ability to conduct transactions? It's going to come to a halt. And that's the piece that everybody needs to understand. One day, you're going to have to pay back that credit card. One day, you're going to have to pay back that line of credit. One day, you're going to have to pay back that loan. And the day you have to start paying down or paying that loan is the day you are cutting your transactions, either to a complete halt, partially, but no matter what, you're going to have to create a budget where you're going to cut down on some spendings because you are over borrowed. You cannot borrow more money in the future. I spent all that money. Okay. Prices went up. I refinanced my house. Remember, 5 to 10 year time frame here. Susan graduates college. She already has her huge student debt. She goes into the market to get a job. She needs a credit card. She may need a line of credit to pay for her rent for the first couple of months until she starts getting paid. Well, in 5 years from now, she needs to be able to pay all of those back. She may have purchased a house. The equity in her house increased. She borrows against it, but there's a point in time the bank says, Susan, your job only went up $10,000 over the past 5 years. I can't give you more money. So poor Susan cannot rely on credit to purchase. So her transactions come to a halt. If her transactions come to a halt, what happens to Tom, the merchants, the store owner? What happens to Bob, the merchant, the store owner? If every transaction I do increases your wealth, what happens on the other side? If Susan stops going to the hairdresser every single week and now she's going every 2 months, what happens to the income of that hairdresser? So do you see why we have cycles? Because every time I take on a loan, and I'm talking about stupid loans, folks. I'm not talking about real estate. Do not get me wrong, okay? But every time you're getting a loan to purchase stupid stuff, depreciating assets, you are creating a time in the near future, 5 to 10 years, that you will have to cut your spending and pay back those loans. So now Tom and Bob are suffering. If Tom and Bob are suffering because Susan's not the only one, because at the bottom of a market, cash is ready, credit is available, she starts spending. Long story short, there's going to be a peak time between 5 to 7 years. That's the average, that the markets, the transactions are going to stop. And what's going to happen? The markets are going to start going down. Where does the Federal Reserve come in? So why do we have the Federal Reserve? Because they have 2 levers, okay? They can control interest rates and they can control the printing of money. Very important. Why would they control the interest rates? Well, if Susan's at the top and she literally cannot afford, maybe she qualifies with a great credit score of over 800, she's paying her debts, but she says, I cannot take another loan because I don't make enough money, period, even if the bank will give it to me. So what does the central bank do? If the economy's growing, they're going to lower the interest rates. If they lower the interest rates, Susan can start breathing again, get another loan. And because poor Susan is such an idiot, like 97% of human beings, I'm sorry, I'm a human too, so I can call myself an idiot. I can spend again on stupid shit. I'm so sorry for the language. I know there's children around and my own son is here. I'm terribly sorry for stupid stuff. So they will lower the interest rates. And by lowering the interest rates, it stimulates the economy. People keep spending and spending and spending, okay? So that is something that is very, very important to understand. Now, what happens when there's a point in time in the economy where you simply can no longer lower interest rates? If we go back in time, in 2008, folks, 2008, we had a massive recession. Sorry, my slides are terribly organized, but we had a recession, okay? Sorry, over here. We had a recession. What did the interest rates do? They brought them down to 0, so that by 2010 and 11, the economy was back in a booming stance, okay? And I'll show you how those works, but I just wanted you to really understand how the economy works, because people don't get it, that if you borrow money and credit is available, you are automatically creating a cycle, because one day you're going to have to pay it back. And if you have to pay back the principal and the interest, you are literally ceasing and desisting to spend money in the economy. That TV is going to have to stay in my living room. I'm not going to get a new one. No, I cannot purchase a new car. Maybe I'm going to go use, maybe I'm just going to repair it and suck it up. But if I stop spending, everybody's income is affected and the markets start crashing. And why do they crash so fast? Well, if Susan realizes, holy crap, I'm so tight, I have to stop spending. The moment she stops spending, it's hurting all the businesses around. And what happens to wages? They start going back down because people start getting fired. The business owner that's selling, hockey skates has to shut his store, or at the very least start firing people, or saying, guys, I can no longer pay you $30 an hour. We got to do some changes. If you want to stay at 25, I can keep you. And that's how people stop spending. But what if everybody stops spending, and more importantly, start realizing that their income is not servicing their debt? They start selling assets. So what's the number one thing? Stocks. So if everybody's like this and they're thinking, gosh, I got to do something, they're going to sell their stocks. What has been happening with Bitcoin? There's millions of different things, but the government stopped spending money or printing money last year. And if they stop printing money, people ran out of savings. They need to get their money back, right? What happens to real estate? If I'm losing my job or my wages are getting cut and I'm now only making $3,000 a month, but my credit card and loans are $3,500 a month, every month I'm in the hole. I go to the bank, they deny me. I say, Crystal, don't worry. Our prices of housing have tripled here in Ottawa. Why don't we throw our house on the market? I'm sure we can get 2.1 million for it. We pay back our loans. We maybe get something a little smaller and we start over again. I go outside. What did my neighbor also do? What did my neighbor across the street do? Everybody does the same thing. And when you have a huge amount of supply of the same product, what does the buyer have? Choice. And he's going to start low bidding properties. And that's how the prices start going down. So it is super important to really understand all of this information, because where are we today? 2022, folks. We are at the height of a market in every single asset class. So you'll hear that we're in the everything bubble. Let's talk about a bubble super fast. What is a bubble? A bubble is when people are taking borrowed money and speculating, anticipating prices will rise one day in the future. And they're putting their borrowed money into it. And when does a bubble pop? When a collective group of individuals, just like us, getting educated on the unsustainability of such an asset class, when that collective group gets together and says, oh my God, I'm buying Tesla share at 1,500 times its earnings. That just doesn't make sense. No, I'm not talking about Tesla. I'm using it as a perfect example. Or, whoa, no one can afford a house in LA or in Vancouver. No one. People stop buying. What happens? Prices collapse. When a collective group of people get wise and understand that this is unsustainable, the bubble pops. If we looked at it in the 1920s, how long would it take for the crash to happen? It was still pretty fast. But when the stock market crashed in the 20s, 29, it was still way slower than what we're seeing today. The volatility in the markets is outrageous. Why? Welcome to social media, baby. All the people can talk way faster. So that collective group is now connected worldwide. So these crashes are fast. Look at what happened to the stock market when COVID first hit in March of 2020. Crashed immediately. They had to close the stock market, try to figure stuff out. So do you see the economy and why it's so important? So now let me address this. Very important. Well, Steve, why the heck are you teaching me how to buy real estate when you're telling me it's going to collapse? Because a smart, sophisticated investor is still capable of finding the hot markets that will go through very little of a crash. And that's what we're going to do together. I'm going to show you the spreadsheet and I'm going to give you the markets. Okay. So I really needed you to understand how the economies work and how market cycles work. Okay. So let's go back here on my spreadsheet. And printing money, folks. Okay. So governments get to, I'm not supposed to say governments, although nowadays it's very hard to know if the central bank is part of the government or not. Essentially, the central bank only is capable of playing with interest rates, making credit, or printing money. The government, on the other hand, is only able to, it can't print money. It can't dictate interest rates, but it can definitely get money from the central bank because they sell bonds. They sell short loans, okay? So what happens when there's too much money in circulation? So inflation, very, very brief here. Inflation is automatically created with supply and demand, okay? That's just normal. So if Susan and Tom and Bob are all trying to purchase the same item, the productivity of the store owner gets lower and harder to sustain because there's so much demand. So what does he or she do? They increase their prices. That's just normal. Supply and demand. Well, what happens when you lower interest rates, you make credit available to almost anybody, and more importantly, you print money? You're giving credit away. They don't really have a printing machine anymore. It's literally pressing a zero, right? You're literally just pressing buttons. So anyways, what happens in that scenario? There's more money in flow. More money, less supply. You've heard about the supply chain issues. Folks, it's not because there was a boat stuck in a canal for a week that there's an entire worldwide shortage of stuff. It's because the demand is through the flipping roof. So much money is readily available that the supplies are just dropping. We're seeing everything go up, but is it sustainable? And the answer is no. All those debts need to be paid back. Okay, so now let's go into how this, I will come back to this slide. Again, my slides are all over the place apparently, but how does this now in turn go back to real estate? So I'm going to tell you very, very shortly with a little story, okay? We already started, let's stick with Susan. Susan, follow my cursor on the screen here. Susan is right here at the bottom of a market. She graduates from college in computer tech. And she starts looking online, where's the best place for me to get a job in computer tech? So she looks everywhere. She goes on Indeed, she looks online, and she sees that the top 3 markets are 1, 2, and 3 for technology. Why? Now we have to identify as smart investors, why are those the 3 top markets for that job? It's because the government, either city, county, or state, has created specific incentives for business owners to relocate in that area and to create jobs, because they know the more people with jobs, the more spending is going to happen. So let's take a look at Texas for fun. Texas has stolen, I don't know how many percent of Californian business. Florida has stolen how much of California and New York businesses. People do not want to be in California and New York. The taxes, income tax, property tax, cost of living is absolutely absurd. So the Bezos, the Elon Musks of the world are saying, screw this, we're getting the heck out of here. Apple is now building a huge mega center. Is it open yet? When was it supposed to open? Who cares? North Carolina. They're relocating, building a second office because of taxes. So the local governments are incentivizing businesses who then turn around and wants Susan. If you look in Fayetteville or Bentonville, Arkansas. They are literally giving a $10,000 cash bonus if you relocate within that city. That was Fayetteville, Arkansas. Okay. So they are giving you, if you want to relocate to Fayetteville, they're literally going to give you $10,000. That is incentives to increase the population so that they have jobs and they can spend in their local economy, which again increases everything. Okay. That's how governments work. That's what they want. So Susan relocates to Fayetteville. Okay. She now has her job. Is Susan going to rent as a brand new person, or is she going to purchase a home? I can promise you with a very high likelihood, over 70 to 80%, she's going to be renting first. Now, 2-3 years down the line, okay, so we're right here in phase one, seller's market phase one. A crash happened a crash happened a couple years ago where everything is just sustainable, very quiet, okay? And all of a sudden, she's starting to realize, oh my goodness, interest rates are dropping and purchasing a home would be cheaper than my rent right now. So what does she and her new boyfriend do? They start home shopping, okay? Now, is there a lot of houses on the market around this time over here, or little amount of houses? There's a crap load of houses because nobody's really buying, but the interest rates are starting to get lower and she's going out there to get a loan. She gets pre-approved. She purchases her house. She goes back to work on Monday. She tells her friends, I just bought a house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Guess what? And people say, whoa, that's smart. Yeah, my husband and I were sitting down. We're paying $1,500 per month in rent, when purchasing a home would be a $900 a month mortgage, and I got it for zero down. What do people start doing? They start purchasing. Transactions get created and the markets keep going up. And then I went into, well, Susan 10 years ago kept borrowing and refinancing her house and blah, blah, blah. Now she's getting so tight, she needs to stop spending. Her husband and her are at the top of their income earning. They no longer can spend. So because they have to pay back their loans. What happens to the economy? Whole thing collapses. Okay. Do we understand? Can I get everybody to start writing? Yes, Steve, encouraging me here. I need to know if you're even alive right now. Hello, mic check, testing. I can't really see the faces. I think everybody took their faces out. It's okay. You can leave it off. There's too many people that I can't see everybody. But in the end, guys, do you guys start understanding the logic? Thank you.
Yeah, we're getting lots of yeses.
Thank
We're
you.
alive.
Hey, you're alive. Woo! Okay, perfect. So that finishes the cycles of economy. How it works. Why does it have to crash every 5, 6, 7 years? Sometimes it's 15 years. You're going to hear people today saying, well, Steve, I believe we're in a super cycle. Yes, they're prolonged periods of growth. I get it. That's what happens when the governments print and print and print. But guys, sophisticated people create crashes. Imagine when loans are readily available to just about anyone. And that's what has happened throughout this time period. Okay, guys. Oh, sorry. No privacy. I just put everybody's messages in front. I'm terribly sorry. I think it's only first names. But anyway, so do you guys kind of get the understanding of why a crash is inevitable? You cannot just continuously go up in prices. So yes, I had predicted that real estate would have crashed in around 2018. That was my prediction. So I had to sit in 2016 and 17 and identify, what am I going to do with my portfolio, the ones that will have to be renewed on loans, and so on and so forth. It was very important. And I thought it would have crashed between anywhere from 2018 to 2020, but never had I predicted that there would have been a pandemic. And then the governments lowered back everything to 0%. Loans were everywhere. And more importantly, so much money was pumped into the economy that everything got super hyperinflated. So this crash is going to be 10 times bigger than anything that has ever been seen since the Great Depression, because every 100 years or so over here, everything resets back to the bottom. Proven through history and proven for time, because there comes a point in time we just can't borrow anymore, and our productivity as human beings is not as good as it used to be, right? Everybody that's over 60, 70 years old, you know that you just can't produce and work as many hours as you used to when you were 20. And if you can, good for you. But do you get what I'm getting to? So then there comes a major crash, okay? So I'm gonna share with you what the indicators are in a few slides. I just wanna get rid of a few slides here that are very important. I say get rid, but I need to share this. This is something I will email you guys at the end of this call. If you have the secret password, do not disappear. But this is the acquisitions. I call this my creative deal funnel. So we're moving on to a different section, and I will come back into markets because we're going to pick the right markets today. But your job as a real estate investor, okay, here's the biggest flaw I see in the world of teaching real estate. I know this sounds a little bizarre, but in our world right now, I know online, since everything's booming, everybody's an expert in real estate or crypto or NFT. You can't open YouTube without an expert popping up in your face. But the problem that I see is that they only teach a strategy, okay? And what I mean by that is there's going to be the flipping expert. There's going to be the apartment expert. There's going to be the expert at seller financing. There's going to be the expert in foreclosures. But that's not how real estate works. My belief is that if I'm going to put my time, if I'm going to teach my son to use his most valuable asset in his life, his time, I need him to be as effective as possible so that every single time he is searching for a deal, I don't want to hear, Dad, I'm searching for a flip. No, I want to hear I'm searching for a good deal, because I'm going to teach him, and I am teaching all of you, that your job as a real estate investor is to be a detective. You need to identify what is the seller's motivation, why they want to sell, and then run it through this funnel that is right here on the screen, because you want to be able to identify how I'm going to fund it. Anybody can fund any deal if they have this funnel in front of them, okay? So if I'm to dissect it, and I'm going to spend no more than 5 minutes on this, okay? But if I'm to dissect this sheet right here, I've identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 acquisition strategies. These are strategies that you're going to position yourself to be looking for those types of deals. Here's what I mean by that, okay? Because there's two categories. There's the one on the left and there's the one on the right. On this call today, there are individuals that have a good amount of money in their cash savings, in their checking accounts, in their retirement accounts, liquidity, okay? They have cash. Well, you will be on the left-hand side, and you have 5 different strategies you can use right now as an acquisition strategy, okay? If you don't have money, I've identified 5 different strategies you could use right now to go into the deals zero down. But what I'm getting at is when you are looking for a deal online, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So I need you to be ready to be able to close on every deal. And this is what it helps you with. And I'll give you an example very soon, okay? But these are the acquisition strategies. So traditional transactions. What I mean by a traditional transaction is anything you buy off the MLS, or you're just purchasing it like any property you would have bought for your personal house. You called a realtor, went to the mortgage broker, got a loan, purchased it with a down payment. Voila, that is my traditional deal. Now, if you look at the top, I wrote value add purchases. Biggest piece of information I can tell you when it comes to purchasing real estate. Always make sure there's a way for you, there is still value on the table for you to create. So if you're purchasing a house, $200,000, Your goal is to be able to force its appreciation by rehabbing it, by doing a renovation to it, okay? So that is a value add because it was a piece of crap and we decided to turn around and redo the kitchen, granite counters, the floors, paint it, and automatically the property goes goes up in value automatically, okay? So that's going to be a value add. So you can buy it traditionally, you can buy a foreclosure, but here's the deal. If I was to teach you how to buy foreclosures today, I don't think there's enough foreclosures for all of us on the call right now. It is not a market to be buying foreclosures in. And that's where the market cycles are important, okay? So that's why I hate teaching a strategy. I like teaching the creativity of a deal. So you got foreclosures, short sales. For anybody that doesn't understand what a short sale is, very rare, especially in Canada. No, not rare in the US, but a short sale is prior to going in foreclosure, because you got to remember, it takes months and years for a bank to kick an owner out. Well, the property owner can still turn around and sell the house. But what a short sale is if they owe 300, but the house is 250. No buyer will pay more than 250. They have to short the loan. So again, are we in a proper climate right now? No, the prices haven't even gone down. So nobody should be over leveraged. Okay. But that is a strategy. Tax sales are becoming popular right now. Huge in Texas, huge in the southern states, really. Okay. But you can acquire properties through traditional means, through foreclosures, short sales, tax sales, auctions. Okay. So those are your basic strategies that will most likely require some money. That's why I put it on the left side. On the right-hand side, you've got your acquisition strategies that you can go in, no money down. The first one, wholesaling. What is wholesaling? It's you taking your time to search for deals, running it through the funnel and saying, Steve, I just can't fund this deal, but it is 40% off. So then you turn around and you sell it to someone like me. Okay. So you literally go and say, Steve, I have this property locked up under contract that has to close in 60 days from today. I can't close it. If you give me $5,000, it's yours. Well, someone like me that doesn't have that much time and he's literally asking his own children to find deals for him is more than happy to give $5,000 for the access to an amazing deal because I don't have time to search for it. So if you're somebody that doesn't have money right now, it is a phenomenal opportunity for you to just make a few extra $1,000 per month by literally finding deals and giving it to somebody that's on the left-hand side that needs, that has money and wants to put their money at work in the markets. Okay, that's wholesaling. Lease option. Lease option is finding a place for rent and saying, I will purchase it in the future. There's probably 10 different terms, okay? Rent to own, lease option. In the commercial world, you'll hear master lease option. So there's a lot of different ways of doing lease options. Now, let me ask you right now, understanding how cycles work, would it be a good time to lock yourself into a lease option right now? Where are prices going to be in the near future? Are they going to be higher or are they going to be lower? Nobody has a crystal ball, but every single indicator is telling us right now the real estate markets are unsustainable. They are in way past bubble territory. So locking in a future purchase date is worthless because the prices are going to be lower. Why? And you're going to have locked in a higher price. So it's not a great time for a lease option. Can you still do it 100% in the right markets? But it's a little tougher, okay? Renting. So this is a strategy that we're going to be focusing a lot when we start looking at deals. There's a new opportunity that has emerged in the last 5 years, and it's called Airbnb, folks. So many people right now are not interested. Landlords are putting their houses up for rent because they don't want to take the time on finding a new daily person, okay? Or there's millions of other reasons they just don't want Airbnb. So they'll put their house up for sale for $1,500 a month, $2,500 a month, whatever, depending on the property, that you can turn around, lock up as a tenant, and with permission, turn around and re-put it on Airbnb. And that's how you make an easy 1,500 to $1,000 a month to $2,500 a month, depending on the size of the property and the demand. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And that's the strategy I'm going to show my son to do. I want him to, and I together, build in the next 6 months between $5,000 to $10,000 a month in cash flow. And that's the strategy we're going to use because the markets are primed for that right now. COVID, Steve, oh my goodness, people are traveling more in Airbnbs than hotels than ever before. Okay, so I'll show you where to get the stats and how it all works. Okay, but that is a strategy for people right now that they're in a tight position and really need to create some income fast. We can go out there, find something for a rent, turn around and re-rent it out on Airbnb. And I'll show you how to get everything done that way, okay? Property hacking, I didn't even know this term. I used to just call buy a triplex and rent out 2 units and you live in it, okay? So it's basically renting out parts of your home or renting out a unit inside, okay? So that's property hacking. And subject twos. Subject twos are huge, where subject to in America is where you are taking over somebody's mortgage, closing on the property on your own name, actually in a trust. I don't want to get into too many details, but you're literally just identifying somebody that is no longer able to hold on to their mortgage payments and you take it over for them. Okay, so that's what a subject to is you're taking over someone's mortgage. And I'm not talking about a what's the term, when you, thank you, an assumption. There you go, Crystal. We're not talking about assuming someone's mortgage. We're talking about just doing it without the bank's permission. Well, how would you do that? There's a law in the US. Just look it up. 1982. There's a bill that got passed. It's called the Saint Germain Clause. If somebody wants to flip their property in a land trust, they are capable of keeping the mortgage alive. And most importantly is the bank can't foreclose or do the due on sale clause. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I just wanted to give you all the possible acquisition strategies. And then every single time I find a deal, I go through this funnel one step by step at a time. So to give you an example, I find a property online and it's a for sale by owner on Facebook, okay, on Marketplace. The easiest thing to do is get a quick claim deed where they literally just sign off the property over to you. In really terrible markets, that happens a lot because people don't want to ruin their credit for millions of reasons. So the first best, so this funnel that you're looking in front of you is, I will go step by step and see if it's a possibility from the best option at the top to at the bottom, we're paying all cash or through a retirement account, okay? So I really don't want to spend too much time. I just want to give you this sheet as a reference in the future. A deal comes up, you run it through the funnel. Okay, well, can I do a quick claim deed with this deal? Can I do a subject to with this deal? A subject to is taking over the mortgage, but if they want a little more cash, then I would go, okay, can I do a subject to and maybe partner with the seller for a second mortgage, or maybe just get a second mortgage and I pay them monthly, or I end up paying cash. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying here is I'm going through every single step. Okay, they won't do a subject to, can I do a seller financing? If they won't do seller financing, could I get a hard money lender to qualify me for this property? If that doesn't work, can I potentially get a private mortgage through one of my investors? Could I do a partnership with an investor and split 50-50? Could I potentially do crowdfunding? There's a lot of websites online now that, you know, there's a bunch of accredited investors that will pitch into a deal to get their money at work. Can I wholesale the deal? So I keep going here. And what this funnel is I'm trying to figure out a way I can make money or fund it. That's what this funnel is, okay? And then finally, the exit strategy. The exit strategy then becomes, am I going to rent it long-term? Am I going to Airbnb it long-term? Am I going to do a refinance long-term? Am I going to lease option back out? So I own the house and Crystal comes and she wants to rent it from me, but says, could I rent it with the future purchase price? I just need to work on my credit. So I lease it back out to them, lease option. And then on the right-hand side, I'll come back to what a blanket refi is. And on the disposition, so those were if I wanted to keep the property as an exit strategy. If I want to dispose of the property, do I want to wholesale the deal? Do I want to seller finance it? So Crystal comes to me and says, Steve, I noticed you own the house outright cash. Could you give me a mortgage for it? I'll give you $5,000 deposit. Maybe I'd like to consider that depending on the market cycles, right? What about a 1031 exchange? What about flipping, house flippers? You just flip the property, or do you want to flip it with a tenant inside? So that's my funnel that I use when a deal comes in. So it's the first time I ever put this on paper, okay? I used to have this going through my head. And a coaching student would call me, did you consider this? Did you consider that? Did you consider this? Did you consider that? So this sheet here, I recommend after this call or tomorrow, go through it and you will really start understanding it as you're calling and talking to people, because there's specific keywords you have to hear that will immediately trigger you to say, I didn't even think of that, but it could be a great lease option opportunity. Okay, so that's the sheet itself. We talked about the markets. We already gave you guys the full example. And this here, yes, this is the sheet, that the last sheet I want to share before we go online, okay, and buy some deals together. So this sheet here is the sheet that will tell you, based on the cycle of a market, what the best acquisition strategy is, what the best exit strategy is, and most importantly, what type of market you should be investing in. So let me take 10 seconds to explain this part. So we all know there's sellers markets and there's emerging markets. Two very important markets, okay? Did I say sellers market? I'm so sorry. There's sexy markets and there's emerging markets. Sexy markets are your markets that explode in appreciation, but at the same time, decrease in appreciation very fast. Why? Because they're highly speculative. Investors come into sexy markets, dump so much money into the real estate. Supply and demand dictates prices rise. Everybody wants to go to California. Everybody wants to go to Florida. Everybody wants to be on the ocean. Those, or even New York City, okay? Those are sexy markets that people just emotionally want to go in. Investors also have emotions. So they drive the prices up super fast, but at the same time, they drop super fast. So in sellers, when there's a recession, your best markets to focus on is going to be your sexy markets. Best. So we went into Phoenix and I went into Orlando first. Well, I went into Atlanta first. Then I went into Orlando. Then I went into Phoenix, Las Vegas, all the sexy markets, because I knew they would appreciate so fast. I predicted they triple or quadruple. Thanks, Jerry. And they did. Now on the right-hand side, when we are teeter-tottering close to a crash, what are the best markets to invest in, guys? Emerging markets. Markets like Pittsburgh that I showed you. I'm not saying that's a great market right now. We'll have to look at my sheet. But markets like Pittsburgh that actually appreciated during the crash. Markets like Dallas at the time, but they will crash extremely fast in the next recession. So I just wanted to give you the best strategies to use based on specific indicators, okay? So this sheet right here, folks, is gold. Again, I've never shared that with anybody. So this always has been in my head. Boom, I put it on paper. So let's find some deals, guys. Let me take a sip of water here because my throat is burning. And I want to open up my sheets. There we go. So I've got 5 tabs open. Crystal, so I see the Zoom like chat, mute, video. You don't see that, right? Because it's hiding my tabs on my camera, but you don't see that.
No, I just see the screen and then you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I just want to make sure all of you guys are seeing the screen. Okay, doke. This spreadsheet, yes, I will zoom it in right here. I hope you guys are all doing good. I'm trying to dump so much content on you guys.
Somebody is saying we can see your Chrome tabs.
Yes, okay, perfect. Chrome tabs is what I want you to see. It's because for me, I got the Zoom controls that are hiding the tabs. So perfect, thank you. So what we're gonna do here is I've created a spreadsheet. So what we're trying to identify, and this I did for me because I am currently in the market of expanding into a brand spanking new market. I've already identified it. I will tell you exactly what it is, but more importantly, I'm going to show you why I'm picking that market based on data and on, man, I'm going to put my glasses. I'm zooming and it's still really small. Okay. So this sheet here that I will share with all of you at the end of this call is my gold. When you want to identify a market that is really good to invest in, very likely that it'll explode in appreciation, but more importantly, very likely it will not crash during a recession and will actually keep on increasing. There's one of the most important indicators, and that is the housing affordability index. I shared a resource. Can you share that same resource? I know it doesn't matter because it's all in here. I'll give you guys the spreadsheet, so never mind. This spreadsheet, folks, so the question is, how much has my spreadsheet changed in the last 10 years? Dramatically. I would never, ever, just to give you guys an example, you guys know I've been so hot and you know, acquiring everything I can in Phoenix for the past 10 years. I will not touch Phoenix anymore. Right here, I will not touch anywhere around Phoenix anymore at all. But more importantly, this spreadsheet did not exist 10 years ago. This spreadsheet is no more than 5 days old, okay? So I've put very important data, okay? So the first most important data that I have here is this is the home affordability index. So what that means, the home affordability index is a calculation. I don't even really know how they do the calculation. It's not really important. It is very accurate. How much of a person's income has to go towards a mortgage payment? Okay, so let me repeat that. The housing affordability index is how much of a person's income does how much of a person's income goes towards purchasing the average house in a specific area for the mortgage. So let me give you an example here. I want to find, I remember Boulder, or here, Miami. If you guys see this cell right here, let me color it. I know it's really small. It's not going to be the most the best here, but I've highlighted Miami. Miami in 2020, that's the latest stats I could really find right now. The stats for 2021 are not out yet, okay? But remember, prices just went up for a whole year. But in Miami, a person's income, so the average wage in Miami, and if somebody wants to purchase the average house, so the median price, they would have to put, what this is showing me is they would have 9% left of their income at the end of the month. So let me repeat that. This number right here is telling me that if 100% is 100% of the person's income, family household income must go towards the mortgage payment. So 100% would be their house poor, okay? The lower the number, the worse it gets. Let's go in LA for fun. Or here, I don't know what I just clicked on, but this is 84. I am in San Diego, California, okay? So in San Diego, California, somebody has to pay 115% of their income to afford a house in San Diego, okay? So let me repeat that. It's a little confusing, but once you understand, 100% is 100% of my income goes towards the mortgage. The higher the number, the better. The lower the number, the worse. So somebody in California has to pay 115%, the difference, right? Between 84.6 and 100, and I'm rounding it off to 85. So they have to pay 115%. Now let's keep going up to give you guys some examples, and then I'm going to show you how I identify my markets, okay? Let's see, there's a lot of 200s. Here's a 300. Youngstown, Pennsylvania, or is that in Ohio? It says Ohio and Pennsylvania. So these are all metropolitan areas, okay? So sometimes states are so close, like Ottawa and Gatineau, okay? It's two different provinces, but in theory, Ottawa is Ottawa and Gatineau, which is still a different province. Now, if we take a look, if we were to go invest in Youngstown, Warren, or Boardman, we could purchase, the average person can own 3 homes because it's over 300%. So that means that the homes in Youngstown, Warren, Boardman are extremely affordable. So if people can afford to buy homes, what's going to happen during a recession? They're barely going to feel it because the prices are already so cheap. Now let's take a step back. Am I saying, folks, let's go to Youngstown, Warren to go and invest? I have to then go to my second numbers. My second biggest important number is going to be the population change. Because I told you, if cities are enticing people to come and move, the prices will slowly grow because there's job creation, there's more transactions. The more transactions, the more incomes rises, and more incomes rise, the more people can afford to purchase homes. So I am looking at these two simple statistics right now. Youngstown, Pennsylvania or Ohio, and yes, the homes are extremely affordable, but that's because there's absolutely no demand. People are moving out. People are not interested in purchasing homes in Youngstown, Warren, Boardman, okay? Or that metro area. I hope you guys are seeing what I'm saying here. So oh, yes?
I did have somebody ask, any idea what the HA value for Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, all those kind of places are? I know you're in American right now.
So the question is, Steve, do you know what the housing affordability index is of anywhere in Canada? The answer is, I refuse to look it up because it is so embarrassing. That is literally my answer. They are way below 100. You want to talk to me about Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa? We've already surpassed that. To give you an idea, the average household income in Ottawa is about $70,000 per household. The average price is getting close to $600,000. In Vancouver, you're at 1.2 million, and the incomes are still an average of 70,000. No, I do not know the percentage, but I'm not a betting person, but I could almost assure you they are terrible. Canada is in the worst position ever right now, ever. So you got to remember your debt to income ratio, right? As a human being is very important for banks. But what's ironic is the debt to income ratio of our country is we are 300, do not confuse with these 300s here, 300% in debt, okay? Our country. So very terrible position. And I had said over 10 years ago, we were way overdue for price readjustments in Canada, and it still has not happened. So again, does it mean you do not purchase? No. It just means you got to be careful where you purchase and think of your long-term goal, because you don't want to end up in 5 years having to sell the property when it's down. So that's how you got to plan it out. So sticking back to the US here, and that's just why I invest in America. Okay. But very important, the strategies I'm going to show you. Okay. Even if you're not looking at your, the housing affordability index in Canada or whatever, you can use all the strategies anywhere around the world that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to automatically sort this sheet to spit out the best markets immediately. So here are a few things you really need to take in consideration that I have not put in the sheets. Okay. First and foremost, I want a good housing affordability index. The higher, the better. Is there a specific number? I'd like it to be over 200. That's my sweet spot, because half of someone's income's going towards their housing, and they still have double the or half of that income to spend it on other things. So I know my tenants aren't going to go broke, the mortgage if I sell or finance or whatever. It's a very affordable area. I like it to be over 200% on this sheet. Okay. Second, I want to see great population growth. Do I have a number? Not really. Anything over 5%. I mean, America has closed the door to immigration for almost a decade now. Not closed, but you guys, right? I don't want to get political. You guys understand what I'm saying? So I just want to see some kind of population growth. What are businesses doing to bring in? Third, I need a population of over 1 million people. I tried to outsmart that rule on Tuesday this week with our challengers, okay? I picked a market that was 500,000 people. I couldn't find deals. The market was just too small for me to be able to find the types of deals I'm looking for. Would there have been deals? Absolutely. But I was live and I was trying to find deals and it just wasn't working. I would have to spend 3 days. But then I went to a second market the next day and we built $6,000 a month in cash flow like this. Okay. So population of over 1 million. Third or fourth, I'm losing track of my numbers here, of what you need, and which is important, is you want an area that is diversified in the economy. Make sure that it's not just reliant on oil. Make sure it's not just aviation. Make sure it's not just tourism. It's got to have a bunch of different types of companies. And how do you find that out? Look at how many Fortune 500 companies there are in that specific market. Okay. Fifth, I'm losing track of numbers, but let's call it number 5. I want to, okay, I'm very careful when I use my words. I want to be extremely careful. I'm not even going to put up the map, but on a political standpoint, I highly recommend, and please, even when I use this word, it gets some people angry, and that's not my intention. As a landlord, our job is to cash flow. But if you are in a state where you cannot evict someone faster than a month, you're not in a good market, because you're going to have a unit sitting with somebody that is not producing income because it is stuck in courts because they are in different rules. And the easiest thing I could tell you is invest in states that are on the conservative side, on the Republican side. Because if you go to New York, there's rent control. California, Illinois, we've learned the hard way. I've owned a lot of real estate in Chicago, and all those states are extremely hard to kick out somebody. So the political landscape makes a big difference when it comes to investing. Your swing states are safe as well because, you know, Florida's is Republican today. It was Democratic years ago. They swing back and forth. That's okay too, because unfortunately they just don't have enough power to make proper decisions because the next politician is going to squash it anyways. Okay. So keep that in mind. Lastly, I want to make sure it is not a market that is heavily reliant or sales were all sales were all investors. Atlanta, Los Angeles, Riverside, California, San Diego, some parts of Florida, over 40% of transactions were conducted by investors. That is going to heavily correlate with my sexy markets. And what's going to happen to those heavy investor-driven markets? If a recession comes, they're going to dump, leave, and flood the markets with inventory, which is going to cause that big crash. Okay. How do you find that out? Google it. I did not put those stats in this sheet. So I want to start speeding stuff up because I promised you we'd make $5,000 today. Okay. So yes, Crystal.
Somebody did ask a great question on that. If the AJ is so high, why is there still a demand for rental properties? Why wouldn't everyone new in town just buy?
I'm going to show all of you guys how to make $5,000 just like this through real estate, no money down. Is everybody going to do it? No. Why? So what I'm getting to is I wholeheartedly understand your question. It's not hard to be rich. You just got to do what other people aren't willing to do. No, close your TV at 8 o'clock, go back and try your side hustle and so on and so forth. But why aren't people doing it? I don't know. So level of education, their surroundings, mom and dad, you are who you surround yourself with. Mom and dad were tenants. I heard my uncle lost his house in 2008. Why would I put myself through that? America is becoming more and more a nation of renters. During my 3-hour economics talk, during my challenge last week, on Saturday, actually, I was teaching everyone how we are at a pivotal point right now of the gap between the poor and the rich is becoming so far apart. It was the 60s when this last happened. And what kind of social unrest did we have in America back then? Look at the entire world right now. Cuba went through a revolution. Haiti, they killed their president. I could give you dozens. I mean, look at the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. Look at even Russia. There's huge social unrest, but we barely hear about it with communism. But my point is it's the level of education. That really is the answer to what you're telling me right now is they're hanging around the wrong people. They're not educating themselves and they're following and hearing from the media and taking it for face value. So we'll just leave it at that. So let's sort this sheet. Okay. What I'm going to do, I've got all these pieces of information and all I'm going to simply do, guys, is I'm going to sort it by highest housing affordability index affordability with change in population. That's simple, okay? But look at what it spits out because I did this. I already knew the market I wanted to go in and it still spit out my market as the top market to be investing in right now. And yes, I will share it with you. So drum roll, please. I'm just going to go ahead and sort my sheet. I will send it to you guys sorted so you don't have to figure out how to sort, okay? So I'm going to sort by housing affordability index of 2020. I want the highest numbers on top. And then I want to sort by population change. Do I want the change or the growth? I think I want column B. Yeah, biggest population. And I think that's in a percentage of since the previous census. So pop 2020. on the high end. And I might as well actually I'm sorry, folks. I'm talking to myself as you're looking at me. It's probably a really good time to stand up and stretch here, guys. You've been sitting down for a while. I want to keep you guys alive. What did I just say? Percentage change. I'm not going to get up because I idiotically puts my sweatpants on today. Crystal wasn't happy. That didn't work because I am getting super affordable. But why am I not getting the right markets on top? Percentage change. Give me a second. There's something. Oh, there's two populations. That's really confusing. I'm going to put it back to here. One quick second. Data. Advance. Oh, you're going to ask me to redo it. Okay, so yes, I want that is good. But then I want to add the first pop. Hello. Oh, select all. This is why I'm going to send it to you guys done because it is frustrating. And I'm sure there's very smart people laughing their butts off at me right now saying, Steve, come on, man. It's easy to do this. It's easy. Population. This is the one I want. Boom. Did you do it properly? You're not doing it. Huh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties because Steve is incompetent at sorting a spreadsheet.
Sort by percentage pop change first.
Percentage pop change. Are we talking about here or here? Yes. Isn't that what I was doing? Hold on.
Pop
What is it?
2020.
Pop 2020. I thought that's what I just did. Advance. Okay. So I'm going to put my header. Oh my God. I'm terribly sorry, guys. Boom. Select all. Data. It's funny because I had that same issue the other day. And then I fixed it, but I can't remember how. So yes, we said housing affordability index. I want the highest on top. That's my most important. If all fails, then we're just going to go one by one. So yes. And then I want to add, we said pop change percentage, which would be J, which would be that one.
Nested sorts only work where values are similar. You should sort by the first, then sort within a shorter list of areas you must evaluate, etc.
I don't know if that makes sense to me, but sorry, it sounded really smart. I don't understand that. Population. Let me try here. Percentage change. Again, just that. Let me see what that does. It's not doing anything. Okay, let's go one by one. I am terribly sorry for this little issue here. I'm really good in real estate. I'm not that bad with Excel usually, but it is giving me a pain in the butt. So here's the most important, guys. It did sort housing affordability index. Okay, that's the most important. But folks, look at this. Peoria, Illinois. I don't even know where it is. And again, population went down by -3. I'm not going to go there, period. Okay. So I'm going to keep going and take a look at here. Let's take a look at here for now. And I'm going to start color coding them. Okay. Here, I just spotted. I'm just going to take a look with my eyes. Look at this right here. Buffalo, no, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. And ladies and gentlemen, you have found my #1 emerging market for the next decade is Oklahoma City. Okay. That is really my top emerging market. Why isn't, oh no, the number disappeared because it's the same color. Let's do it black. Okay. So Oklahoma City, but let's go a little higher first. Oh, there's a last little piece I didn't mention. So Syracuse, check out Syracuse and Buffalo. They look like decent numbers. The housing affordability index is 317, meaning I could purchase 3 homes if I have an average income in that area. Okay. Population, it's in the minus, so I'm going to say no. Here, Buffalo is it's above 3%. But here's my big ick about New York. Another element, let's put it as number 6. Kids aren't here and the dogs are going nuts. They haven't gone outside today. The taxes, the property tax rate are through the roof. Chicago, Illinois. Sorry, guys. Chicago, Illinois. Taxes are through the roof. And again, I learned the hard way on that part because I had never put it as a real thing for me. And the problem became, 2% of a property eats away at your cash flow like crazy. So that was the big thing. So I'm going to say no to those markets. Okay. So right now I am looking over here. I'm liking 13. Oh, what's here? I may want to look into this little market here, but what's the population? It's still under 1 million. So I'm going to put this right here as a yellow. Okay. As a yellow where I really like the numbers, but one of the rules is to have over 1 million people. And I'm afraid that I'm going to have a hard time finding deals because already the local market's probably buying. And now I'm trying to jump on top of that. It's just not a big enough economy for me to be able to do it. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. 6, Little Rock, Arkansas. See, that's not too bad. 750,000, but I'm still going to put it as a yellow. But do you guys see what I'm going? I'm just looking at housing affordability index number 1. Are homes affordable? If homes are affordable, people are going to stay. They're going to, or doesn't mean that they're going to stay, but at least during a recession, it's not going to crash as hard and as fast. Okay. So St. Louis, what is this? Eesh, 1 is not a lot. I'd like to keep it over 5. Cincinnati would be my second choice. If I was to get out of Oklahoma, because Tulsa's in this list. So my strategy is Oklahoma City and expand to Tulsa because it's not even 90 minutes away. I remember my first building was in Tulsa. So Cincinnati, I'm going to put it in green for you guys. Fantastic little market. Let's keep looking over here. What is this? Green Bay. But again, population is way too small. I'm not even going to put it on my list. What is Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky? I'm starting to wonder. It's still small, so I'll put it in yellow. See the process we're going through, guys? A couple minutes, and you're able to see statistically what are going to be the best markets over the next 10 years, okay? And I just keep going. Omaha. I think my problem with Omaha, I'm going to put it yellow. There's no second market really near. That's my biggest thing. All the second markets are very close, very small. Columbus should be good. Yeah, 8%. Des Moines. I believe Des Moines, though, is heavily investor driven. Now, remember, this is not the be all end all. You're going to have to do a lot more research, okay? But this is the process we're going through. Columbia, South, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to put this in yellow. Never been, never seen. And then I've got a 12, Lincoln, but that's 300,000. I'm okay. Yeah, Tulsa, I already told you. That's definitely going to be my top markets, but it'll be my second market as we expand. Kansas City, fantastic market. I'll put that as a green. Missouri side, not Kansas. Huge political difference, huge landlord rule difference, tax differences, okay? So Kansas City has 2 Kansas cities. Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas. I like the Missouri side. And here, Indianapolis is also a fantastic market. And, I'm going to stop going because of time here, guys. But do you see how simple and amazing this is? Any of these greens here, I highly suggest you start searching in a lot more. Now I need to speed up here, okay? So Oklahoma City, that's the market we're going to pick. I'm going to try. So we just did that about 4 or 5 days ago. Actually even more recent, but that's the market I'm going to go in. So what I'm showing you now is how am I going to study this market? What does this mean? So I'm going to go on Google Maps, okay? Because we don't live there. Oklahoma City. Let's take a look at it visually. Then I have other tabs that I've already pre-selected so that we wouldn't be wasting 10 hours looking at me searching here. I'm going to Google a term because I picked Oklahoma City. I'm going to Google city data, Oklahoma City. Okay. Well, nope. I clicked something wrong. Okay. And you can see I already had looked at it this week, but I'm going to click on this link. But so this here, I'm not going to go through it right now, but look at the data it's going to spit at you. It's insane. It's going to tell you how long the average person in Oklahoma sleeps. What's the average real estate price? What's the average income? What is the ethnicity? What is property values? Okay. I don't like that map. So sorry, this is my most important map, but it is a little small. So I kind of like the colors though, to be quite honest. But this is something that's important. I'll show you another map in a second, okay? But these maps, so important because it shows you where the path of progress is. It shows you the neighborhood you absolutely do not want to go in and the neighborhoods that you want to be close to because they're high in price, okay? So city data, and then I just Googled city-data and I put Oklahoma City. Now, the most important one for me is my medium income map. Okay. So I kind of really like this one, but I hate how it's so small. Maybe I'm sure there's smart people here that could figure out how to blow it up and make it fantastic. What I do is I will just Google the term median income. Okay. And then I click on the second link. So because the second link, I hope you're following me on your computer here or just look at my screen, doesn't matter. But I'm going to click on this guy and look, it gives me a bigger map. That's why I like it. So it's giving me the outline of Oklahoma. I'm going to go back over here. And because we have no idea what this place is, no idea. Actually, Yukon, we almost bought a building in this area. When we did our live event in Las Vegas, I had called my investor, Pete, and he wanted to sell us a building in Yukon that he was getting out of. Anyway, sorry. Here's what I want to do. I have this outline right here, right? Everybody sees my screen. I'm going to lift my mic up here because it's starting to really annoy me. And I want to find myself a landmark that I could identify so that I can compare it here and then on realtor.com. I'm going to close this one here. Okay, guys, I'm just going to close it for now. But in here, I'm going to look at this highway. See how it creates a little box here? That's going to be my landmark, my point of reference so that I can pepper the maps together because I'm trying to learn the market right now. So this is my little square. So I'm going to go on my heat map and I'm going to try to zoom in to about where that square is, which is right here. See, it's very pale. I don't even know how it's going to look on your screen. I don't know why they make it so pale, but see how the box is right here. Follow my cursor. The box is right here. So it's easy for me when I'm on realtor.com or on a map view to be able to pinpoint, okay? Enough, you guys. Come on. Dogs are going crazy. So that's my pinpoint. Now, here's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at this little map here, okay? At the bottom, it's telling me the average income somebody makes in that specific area. And this is important because that'll show us where the most expensive houses are, or it'll show us where the areas you do not want to go in are, okay? I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm not trying to judge. I'm being smart as an investor, okay? So what we're trying to find is an area that, because obviously if we go in this $250,000 average price, it'll be $1 million homes. We're not going to be investing in that. That's not my strategy. But I want to be as close as possible to those areas because it'll be in the path of expanding and better pricing. So what I want to do is be able to identify neighborhoods that would be around these dark areas. But like here, right? If I click on it to give you guys an example, see here on the right-hand side, it tells me, well, this little yellow square that I just clicked, the average income is about $93,000. So if I can try to find myself properties in this specific area, I know they're going to be great neighborhoods, which I will double check, obviously, with Street View and my power team, but it'll give me a good idea that they're better properties. So what we're going to conclude right now, because there's a beautiful pink, dark, and if I just keep going over here, whoops, because I clicked, hold on one second, let me close that, over here like this. Meh. I don't know why they're not popping up right now. There we go. See, I see how they're all, I can't be here at the same time as, I want to be around this area here. Okay. So my landmark, I want to be north of Oklahoma, and I want to maybe be on the west side, but east side doesn't seem that bad either with these colors. That's a $62,000 average price. That's my Ottawa town. That's very normal as a household income. Okay. So you guys see how I'm trying to do this as fast as possible to save everybody time here, but I'm just really trying to see what are the good areas, what are the bad areas, where do we want to be, where do we want to stay out of. Okay. Let's keep going to the next step. So now I'm going to go on realtor.com. Is it the best site to find deals? No, I prefer buying directly for sale by owner. So you could go Fizbo.com. You could go Facebook Marketplace. There's hundreds of different places, but there's no real I know in Canada, we are extremely lucky to be able to have Comfree, or which is now Purple Bricks, Property Guys, all these assisted services where it's for sale by owner. It's not very popular in the US. Okay. So you'll have to Google Oklahoma City private for sale and see what sites that they have, because a lot of them are just regional companies that I can't tell you. I don't know, but you'll have to research that. But for right now, just to give us an idea, I want to see, can I find deals that'll make me money in Oklahoma? So let's start first by searching for sale. So if somebody has a little bit of money, somebody, let's look at the for sale, and then I'm going to show you the no money down way. But my real strategy today is to Airbnb the property. Okay. I'll show you how safe it is, how there's more statistics than if you were to rent it out. And there is technology today, folks, that yes, if you are sitting in Montreal right now, you could easily be controlling a property in Oklahoma City. All you need is technology, access to internet. You can control the door code on a daily basis. You can give a different code to your cleaners than to your maintenance person, and you can reset it immediately with a click of a button. Well, Steve, how am I going to maintain the property? You're going to find yourself a maintenance person. That's it. How am I going to clean it? You're going to find a cleaner. We live in a world where cleaners right now are being let go by hotels continuously because of the economic circumstances. They're everywhere. How do I have proof? You install cameras. How many times do you rent an Airbnb and there's cameras outside everywhere? You are protected on every angle. Okay. So don't let your pessimistic, our natural human being instincts of protecting ourselves. It's being done continuously. Okay. So that's going to be the main strategy that I'm showing you today. Does it mean that you can't do this for rentals? You can't do this for flipping? Absolutely not. Okay. So yes.
Couple things. One, do you still use Marcus Millichap?
So the first question is, Steve, do you use Marcus and Millichap? And yes, I will use Marcus Millichap, or on the commercial side, because they give a lot of good commercial pieces of data. But the answer is absolutely. So I get my statistics from Marcus Millichap. I get them from the Housing Affordability Index comes from, was it the Census Bureau or the National Association of Realtors? I get so many resources, but I don't really stick to a specific one anymore. Google is so valuable with, it will give you the most reputable up top and so on and so forth. So I like to stick to Google and go with what it offers me first. I will usually go between Google search, the normal search, and then I'll click images because they'll give me charts. And then I can click that. It brings me to the website. So yeah.
Remember you told us to use Bing back in the day and see the rooftops tarped off and the crime data for properties.
I love you guys' memory. This is amazing. So Bing. So yeah, so I would say I love Google Maps for street view, and I like Bing for bird's eye view. Google does it now, so I just stick to Google. So it gives us all the surface information.
Oklahoma's been great statistically for a very long time, but it hasn't really gone anywhere. One reason somebody was saying they didn't choose it was due to it being Tornado Alley. How does that make you feel on those kind of natural disasters?
Natural disasters, folks, I don't pay attention to at all. I know there's tornadoes there,
Insurance?
but exactly, it's insurance. So if my insurance costs are affordable, I'm okay. Because if somebody destroys my house, I hope the people in it are okay, but I have the land, I have my insurance, and I'm protected. So no, I do not care for that. To go on the prior side, it hasn't blown up in a while. That's why I want to go in now, because it's one of the very few that have not gone up dramatically. So there is so much room for growth. But on top of just what we're looking at, there also is huge tax incentives for businesses. So it's going to be bringing in a lot of people. Okay. That's why I really like it. So let's go back here. We're going to look at my map. So you already see there's a very wide diversification of properties. I can purchase $70,000 properties, which I'm pretty sure if we look here, it's in the south. If we were to look on my income map, it's probably in the not areas that I want to go in anymore, right? So we said, Steve, we want to stick in the top here, okay? Price range, I'd like to stay under $250,000. So let's start clicking. So follow my cursor here. I'm going to start clicking properties. $165,000 for a 3-bedroom, and this is really around the areas that I like. So why don't we click it? This is not a property I have analyzed. Been analyzing a lot lately. Second part, I got caught in ignorance. I said, oh, because I kept looking at properties and I said, why aren't they putting money in the landscaping? It's 0 degrees Celsius right now. So this is their winter. So imagine us in November. Okay, so very normal. But let's take a look at it. So definitely needs a lot of love outside. I can just see here. There's definitely sweating around the foundation. So that really kind of does bother me a lot. It's a piece of crap inside. So this is a fixer-upper, period. So why don't we go copy this? Oh no, how do I go behind this? My tabs are hiding my, Zoom is hiding my tabs. Okay, let's just go. I don't need the map anymore. I'm going to open up Zillow and let's just, for fun, I'm going to.
Also a spot on Zillow where you can actually look at the for sale by owners on Zillow now.
Yes,
They pay the fees so
exactly, because they're offering it. That is, thank you for sharing. So I'll repeat that. What Crystal just said is there is a place on Zillow now you can find the property, the for sale by owners. They have to pay for that service, I believe, in the US, but it still works. Why am I, hold on, my address is all weird here.
someone says Control plus tab if you're trying to switch between the
Somebody's very smart. Thank you. I do appreciate the help. So this property's for sale. So right now I'm going on Zillow to see if I can get a Zestimate. Zillow is not 100% accurate, but it's still a very good indication of what a property's worth. I'm not getting it right now because it's for sale. I know I can find it somewhere. Zestimate. Oh. Let's go back. We saw it. Is not available for this house. Okay, well, listen, I'm not looking for fixer-uppers right now, so let's go back, okay? So we will go back into this tab over here. I'm looking for something that's more turnkey just for the purpose of our talk right now, okay? See, this one here is a 4-bedroom. It was put up for sale not long ago. It's not terrible. Definitely needs some repainting, but not terrible. I would redo a kitchen. I would definitely paint. I hate those colorblind painters. Wow. Okay, so it needs a little bit of work, but it's not like the other one. I would probably do, this is more surface stuff, including a kitchen and bathroom, a $30,000 rehab. Let's put it, okay? Again, I'm showing you an example with money right now. I am going to go take this property now, and let's get an idea of what it could potentially rent for. Hold on, what was it on a Mac?
Control plus tab is what they said.
Control plus. Nope. Let's try option because I'm on a Mac. Oh, nope, that was my Zoom. Okay, I'm not going to be able to take the advice. Hold on. I'm just going to make it a little smaller so I can see my tabs. Okay, so I'm going to go to rental meter. So rental meter is going to give me what a 4-bedroom home in that area would rent for. And what I'm trying to see is, will it pass my 1% test? This is my easiest thing. Before I even go and analyze this property, I want to know, can I rent the property for 1% of the purchase price on a monthly basis? Hold on to that thought. If that was too fast, I'll show you as an example. So I want to put the number of bedrooms. Bathrooms doesn't matter, okay? I'm going to click Analyze. So it's a free tool, but you're limited on how many times you can do it on a daily basis. So it does not pass my 1% rule, but darn is it ever close. What it's telling me is that in the area, this house would rent for about $1,700 a month. Now, I know on $1,700 a month, the challenge that I have is it's just barely going to give me cash flow, like $100 a month. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little more greedy than just spending all that time and creating only $100 a month. Now, I know I'm probably sounding like a major a-hole because there's nowhere in Canada you get $100 a month, period. But that's why I don't invest in Canada neither. But I'm not going to say no, because I want to introduce you to another tool that we've been using over the last couple of months. And this is the strategy we're jumping in so that we can create some immediate cash flow. So I'm going to use a website called airdna.co. airdna.co. And the fun part with AirDNA is it's free to collect your data. I find it a little too expensive when it comes to expansion, because if you want to have all of America, I believe it's like $700 a month. But when you're really starting to run your business, there's a second source you can also use, D as in dad, P as in Peter, go.com. DPgo, I believe, is .com. Okay. But let's stick to AirDNA. So for now, I'm going to go in my login into my free account. I don't want to show my portfolio stuff. 106 shit. Am I in Marmart? No, this is my. Okay, 0 properties. Perfect. So I'm going to go, I'm in the website here, and I'm going to go into Rentalizer. That's what it's called. And I'm just going to paste the information. And what AirDNA is it collects all the Airbnb data, and it spits out how much it should rent for, what price on an average basis, and so on and so forth. So take a look at this. So right here, it's telling us, and this is very, very, very powerful and accurate. It's telling me that the property of the address, it's rare that it doesn't spit you a photo, but it's telling me that in this specific area, because it's a 4-bedroom, it should rent for $366 on average. Okay, Christmas time maybe $700 and winter time maybe $120, but on average, it should be about $366. What is the occupancy rate? Your property should be rented 46% of the time out of the entire year. Oh my God, Steve, 10% vacancy is already huge. I get that, but this is daily rentals. Airbnb is doing the marketing. You're just readjusting your pricing, which AirDNA will do automatically for you if you let it. So what we just identified, let's go into my analysis sheet. This is the analysis sheet that I will share with all of you guys right here. I'm going to punch in my address. Boom. I'm going to, I should put the MLS, but we're really starting to hinge on time here. So I'm going to put my rehab is about 30,000. That's just by experience for me. I'm getting really good at eyeballing, especially after I own the construction company. This is 187,000 as an asking price.
Construction.
Yes.
At one
Go a
time-
little louder so I don't have to repeat.
At one time, you taught us that we must insure our properties when fixer-uppers or turnkey properties come along the way. If an individual trips or falls and then sues you, you know, you need insurance.
Correct.
Do you use companies like National Real Estate Insurance Company, or what kind of insurance do you recommend?
So insurance. So yes, we always need to insure our properties. Also, I believe what you're talking about is a builder's risk policy when you're rehabbing it. Don't want your contractors suing you, so on and so forth. All that. I shop. Every state. I don't have one insurance broker all throughout North America. I have every state, every city. I shop around because some states will be better for specific housing and so on and so forth. So I don't have a specific recommendation. Google, call, shop around. Super important, okay? Okay, just so you see the sheet here, I'm gonna do this fast. I'm taking out my phone for a calculator. So here's what I wanna do. AirDNA is telling me I should be able to do $61,000 per year with this property, but that does not include my expenses. So I'm going to put it in my sheet, 61,100, and I'm going to divide that by 12 months. So what is going on in my calculator here? My phone is freezing. Let's try that again. There we go. I'm going to make around $5,000 per month on this property. So friends, folks, everyone, Rentometer said, Steve, you can rent this for $1,700 a month. AirDNA is telling me, Steve, you're going to rent this property for $5,000 a month. And this is very, very accurate data, okay? So I'm punching this number in my spreadsheet here. I'm going to put an additional, so the 61,000 is including the 40 or the 54% vacancy already. If you do the math, very, very simple, I would do 366 is the average rate times 365 and remove 54% as the vacancy will give me 61,100. Okay. So it's already there, but I'm still going to add in an extra 10% for a buffer room. I'm going to say my maintenance is 10%. Remember, this is credit card money. The person does damage, the credit card gets charged. Okay. So I'm still putting a 10% for maintenance on a monthly basis, $6,000 per year. But keep in mind that we've already calculated, it should be the homeowners that pay, or sorry, the tenants that pay. So taxes, what state are we in? We're not in Illinois. I'm going to go in Oklahoma. Give me a second. Oklahoma. This is alphabetical. Why am I struggling? There we go. My taxes should readjust to the tax rate of Oklahoma. It did. Insurance. So in the insurance, this is a single family home. I'm going to put around $1,200, which is more. Very cheap insurance in the US, especially there's 330 million people, right? Property management, there's none. You're going to be doing it on your phone. Super easy management when it comes to Airbnb. Airbnb handles most of it. You just got to make sure you get your cleaners and maintenance if required. That's it. But I'm still going to put 10%. My utilities, I will increase. Okay. I have it here. It doesn't say it, but I'm going to put $250. Remember, Airbnb people don't really care of saving on utilities. Okay. So my total expenses would be $1,000. So let's go all the way down. If we get a mortgage, 30% down, not at 15%, this property right here, everyone, this property that we just found in 10 seconds would cash flow $2,783 flipping dollars. Yes, we need to do more due diligence, but you guys remember my system. We are pre-analyzing right now, and we found a property that is renting, or we can earn $2,700. Okay. So that's number one. Are we good? I'm sure there's a million questions, but I want to go through one or more or two more deals. Okay. So, I'm submitting, I'm going to give you this sheet. There is a YouTube link. What do you mean permission? Okay. I'm going to give myself permission to run my script. Yes. Authorizing successful. Well, thank you, computer. Okay. So I will resubmit this. So what it's doing, guys, I like tracking all of my deals. So it has put the information here, because if I see a price reduction in the future, it's going to pop up. I don't know why it's slow. If I do a price reduction in the future, I need to make sure that I already have the data. Why am I not seeing it? I know it shows up. I know it works. I use it all the time. Okay, well, let's keep analyzing. And I will see why the heck it did that. But are you guys seeing that? Literally just like this, we are able to create over $2,000 a month in cash flow. $2,000 a month, okay? Now, yes, we're gonna have to furnish the property. Well, if it's no money down, Steve, how do I do that? You can get a lot, there's a lot of people with too much furniture right now, especially home stagers. Supplies is down. Their stagers are paying storage facilities to store their furniture. It's easy to create an arrangement. You don't want to have to pay a fee. You don't want to have to rent it. It doesn't matter. You can rent an entire house furniture for $500 a month. Okay. And with that being said, you've got the cash flow built in to be able to protect you no matter what. So let's go find a second deal. But this time I want to flip it around. I want to go into, I'm going to go back in here and we're going to go for rent. I know I promised everyone we're going to do $5,000 a month. We're already at 2,700. So it's not going to be that hard. But now I want to show you a method of doing this, no money down. Okay, $0. So this is the strategy I'm going to show my son. And Jake, I think he put a fake name, but yes, he's still on with us. So I'm in the rental section right now in Oklahoma City, just in realtor.com. Very little effort, okay? I want to remove apartment because those darn apartment building owners, oh gosh, we pepper our properties on this stuff all the time. So I'm going to put single family home. You could put condos if you want as well. Condos are fantastic, low maintenance, low anything to take care of. Wow. Why is this $1,700 a month? Where is it though? It was right here. I'm okay. It's still in the air. I don't want to go south. Okay. So let's click here. I'm going to go back. Take a quick look. Now, the key with doing Airbnbs is amenities and, free internet, TV, put a video game console, pools and hot tubs. Pools aren't super necessary if you've got a hot tub. Those to me, I will only travel if there's a hot tub in an Airbnb. I don't know why we can't see pictures here. Again, I don't rely on pictures. Remember that, guys. But I just want to see, is it going to be a big, especially if it's for rent? I don't need to do anything here. I may want to paint the brick. I may leave it. Exposed brick is super popular now. It's turnkey. It's turnkey. I mean, it's not, wow, hardwood, gleaming hardwood floors and everything, but it looks fantastic for an Airbnb. So I'm going to copy this address. Where am I going? I'm going to go into Airbnb. So AirDNA, I'm going to paste the address. And what is it going to give me? A lot less. So what I've seen is 4 bedrooms rent for a lot more. See, this is double it's a huge difference, but the occupancy is way more, but the average rate is way less, but it's still 37,000 per year in expenses. So let's go run it. I'm going to run the numbers. Then, I mean, 2,700 is extreme. Okay. We really found the first property not fair that it's that high, because you should be looking at $1,000 or more. So now I'm going to clear this sheet here. Did it ever spit it out? Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on. Something's wrong with my sheet, but not a huge deal for now. So I'm gonna put this address in now. Boom. Number of units, 1. Total price per year, 37,100, I believe. What is that divided by 12? Hey Siri, what's 37,100 divided by 12?
37,100 divided by 12 is
3,000.
3,091.6666.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siri. Okay, so now we're gonna go vacancy. Taxes. I need to put the purchase asking price. What was it? Oh, we're not purchasing it, so we got no taxes. 0 taxes. Insurance, we're still going to get this insured. Property, utilities, all my numbers are good. HOA, we're going to have to do some research. We don't know for HOA. But again, guys, look at this. We just found another property that'll do $1,800 a month. No. We did not. No, we did not. And here's why. Because we're renting. I didn't take my rent into consideration here. We are giving them $1,700. So this deal doesn't work. We just found a not good property because I didn't put it in the sheet yet, but we're going to be paying ourselves to the landlord $1,700 in this situation. We're not purchasing this deal. We're going to rent it as a tenant. And then we're going to re-rent it on Airbnb. So very different. But I'm going to stop here because we just saw it's not going to work. Okay, so let's keep going. I mean, this is the name of the game. You guys see what I'm doing here? So easy. Let me put 4 bedrooms. The 4 bedrooms will have a better opportunity. Vacancies will be a little more. But my cash flow, it's the average. It doesn't matter. Here's a 4-bed. Here, look at this map. What is this guy here? 17 a month again for a 4-bedroom. Ooh, it looks cute inside. I think we analyzed this deal the other day. They all look the same. No, maybe not. I don't know. But again, nice, clean. We need to furnish it. Nice little yard would be good. Nice, beautiful kitchen. This works for me. I'm going to copy this. $17.90 per month. I'm going to bring it in AirDNA and I'm going to paste it. What numbers? There we go. So now I know I'm going to be making some money off of this deal because it's telling me 60,000 per year again. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to put 60,000 per year, AirDNA. I'm not going to have any closing costs. I'm going to leave it because it may be my security deposit, so on and so forth. Estimated rehab, I've got none, but I'll still put $12,000 for furniture. Asking price, I'm leaving it blank. What is my monthly on this? So I'm going to do 60,000 divided by 12 on a monthly basis. Oh, needed a calculator for that. 5,000. Jake, no laughing at me. Maintenance, again, we're going to have to keep up. There's no taxes, but here's what I'm going to do still. I'm going to put the rent, $1,750 per month. Okay. So I'm renting this property. I'm still going to insure it for liability reasons. I'm leaving my property maintenance, even though I'm not going to have any. My utilities are up at $250 and I'm making $1,500 a month on this deal. So far, 2 deals. One that pays $2,700 per month. This one's $1,400. Remember, you can make $1,400 every single month without even having to buy it. Now, is it a good long-term strategy? No. Oh, the money is in ownership. That's the only way how you're going to be able to really own real estate and win the game. But in the meantime, it gives you that cash flow. And if you keep your job and you've got that cash flow coming in, you can then start purchasing real estate, use it as down payments and grow. So guys, I'm not going to keep going through this. I want you to do it yourselves. That's what I want you to be doing, okay? Is Find yourself. Let's do a very quick recap here. We found ourselves a great little property. Market. Okay. Go through the spreadsheet. Do you want to go in Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Des Moines, Iowa? But I believe I don't like it as a green because Des Moines was heavy in investors. It really shot up fast. I remember not liking it. I can't just remember why now. Okay. Do your own research. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Indianapolis. Keep going down the list here. You will have Columbus, Ohio. What's the population change? 12. I could put this. It's over 200. So it's getting tight, but I wouldn't go lower. But look, these are all the markets we could be investing in that will have enough inventory. And who wants to travel to Oklahoma City? Folks, everybody. It's for work. It's for recreational. It's for my house is being renovated. I need a house. There's millions of reasons people want Airbnb properties. Okay. Those statistics are super, super, super accurate. So yes.
Couple of questions. One, when we're looking at positive cash flow, we should be looking at $1,000 and up monthly.
Yes. That's my person. So just to make sure everybody heard, should I be looking at cash flows of over 1,000? Yes. You could go lower for sure, but it gives you room. It gives you, to me, if I could go 10,000 minimum, I go 10,000. That's what I'm looking for. And me, it's no go if it's less than 800. That's basically my number. Okay. Let me spitfire some very, very helpful hints here. Approach apartment complexes in very highly desired areas. It's the easiest thing to do. You approach the owner and you say, listen, I'd love to rent a couple units from you and put it on Airbnb. So I'll pay you your asking price and I'll throw it on Airbnb. A lot of people ask me, well, what is the potential of the landlord saying yes? It's the way you approach it. Okay. But for me, it's very simple. I travel to Oklahoma City a lot. I'm tired of paying rental fees or going to hotels. Is it cool if I rent from you, but during the times I'm not in town, I'm going to throw it up on Airbnb to just make sure that I get my money's worth out of it. I'll manage the entire process. I have everybody's credit card. So if there's damages, I'll be able to go after them. And worst comes to worst, you get to come after me. Okay. We've got very severe noise restrictions. I'll make sure that we pre-approve the people that come in. There's nothing to worry about. So I get people saying, well, Steve, what if they decide to do it themselves? Well, it's a risk you have to take, but most people don't want to manage it. They've already thought about it, but they don't want to manage it. So what if they're really hesitant? Well, first off, you're going to hear no often, but something you could also offer them is to partner with them. Listen, instead of giving you $1,700 a month, I'm showing here on a very, very reputable piece of software that I can rent it for about $5,000 a month. Why don't we just split 50-50? I'll take 2,500. You take 2,500. That's your last resource, but the sky's the limit. I would only do 50-50 if they fund the actual furniture. Okay, so that's where I would bring in a 50-50 partner with the landlord if they do the furniture. So I'm going to have to move on for time, Crystal. I will go through the chat, guys, and I'll try my best to maybe do a little quick video or something. Maybe not tomorrow. I'd love to have a day off. But over the week, I'll put it back in our community. Okay. So for everybody that's here, make sure you're in our Facebook community. Crystal, can you post a link, please, later for the Facebook community? Okay. She ran out, but she heard me. So we're going to make sure that you're there because that's where I'm going to throw the sheet on. Okay, guys. So here's what I want to sum up for you guys. Let's go back over here. We're not done. I need about 15 minutes of your time. One more, because I've got one more super important thing to share. And then I'm going to send you guys all this information. So thank you so much for all staying here. I hope the content was worth it, guys. It's a strategy we came across. It's actually a really good friend of ours who are now crushing it. in the Airbnb world, and they've been begging me to look into it for 2-3 years, but I've kind of been kicking my feet back, just relaxing and everything. But now my children want to start making money, so I'm going to show them how to take control of their future. And at the same time, I want to be able to help you guys. So basically, to sum up the past hour, guys, so we've talked about the state of the economy. I gave you guys the best markets to be investing in. I really explained step by step how you identify markets where we are. I pointed out the importance of why it is so important. And then we've identified those markets with the key things. I've broken down the acquisition strategies, the funding strategies, and I've broken down the exit strategies. I know we really went fast through this here, and we can go through many more details. I'll probably be able to just put it on the Facebook community, explain a little more, just put it on Facebook, whatever. But it is such a powerful sheet, a lot more than I'm giving it attention to, because every deal that comes through your funnel should make money, period, whether you have or have not any money. Okay, so that's why I created that sheet. It is so important. We didn't find our 5 deals, but we found 2 deals that'll be pumping us $4,000 per month. And we did that in less than 25 minutes. Now, like everything I say, I have not conducted my full due diligence yet, right? We are ready, fire, aim. And it's funny because over the past 5 years, I've even switched that even more to fire, ready, aim, because people just wait so much thinking, I'm going to do this when I'm ready. I'm going to have a baby when everything's perfect. I'm going to start investing when X. No. Fire, fire, fire. Stop overthinking, fire. We lock it up and then we do our due diligence, right? That's the whole concept of the system and why my students are so successful. So that's what we've covered. Now, I want to ask you a very, very important question. I told you I'm going to be doing this with my son. Step by step, we're going to be recording everything. And I'd like to do it with you. I want you beside me, doing the every single step that I take so that you can duplicate it in your life. If you're saying, Steve, I really don't want to go in Oklahoma, but I want to implement this, let's look at AirDNA in Ottawa. Let's look in your town in British Columbia, and wherever you are from. This works in your local market. It is very, very safe if you're doing it the no money down route, because you don't own the property. What if the markets crash? If you're renting it, it's not a huge deal. I still highly recommend you to be purchasing. And if you are purchasing, we got to go back into the sheet and pick the right markets. But anyways, all of this said, guys, is Jake and I have put a plan together that we're going to be acquiring $5,000 to $10,000 worth of cash flow per month, so that he can put it in his account. He wants to purchase a car. He wants to be able to go to a very high-end university. So he has to start building that cash flow. He is going to be 14 years old. So I'm going to be breaking it down on a step-by-step basis. How does a 14-year-old create authority? How does he look and show his presence online? How does he encourage a landlord to be able to say, yes, I will rent out the property? Now, mind you, because he is 14, we're probably going to have to say it's daddy, but I'm just giving you the idea. So if I was with you, literally on the computer, we are in such a beautiful time right now with Zoom that I can literally be talking to you, just like I've been doing it with the challengers over the past 3 weeks, okay? And I want to show you something and invite you that over the next 6 months, I would like to be able to share every single step I take, from building a website to searching online, to emailing him or her, the landlords, to recording my conversations, to negotiating how I'm going to fund or he's going to fund furniture, every single step. The curriculum that I've broken down right now has 197 videos so far that are planned, and I can almost promise I'm missing half of them, okay? So I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to talk to you on a daily basis. I want to know where you are, give you inspiration, give you motivation, get you unstuck, and make sure that you're following the plan on a daily basis. I want to be able to jump on Zoom once a week, like this, face to face, but this time not for talking. It would be more my Q&As, but I want to be able to answer all of your questions. Where are you now? Why aren't you further? Wow, how can we speed up the process? Is it time? Is it money? Is it resources? What are you missing? What can we do to make sure that you add $5,000 to $10,000 per month in your life? Okay, so I don't care if you're retired. I don't care if you're brand new in real estate. I don't care if you have no expenses. Anybody can do this, and there's no reason nobody should, because it's the first step to building a large real estate portfolio. I want you to be able to take care of you financially, and then we expand to building the portfolio, okay? So I want to also be able to give you every single resource imaginable. I want you to build $5,000 per month no matter what. I don't want to let anybody fall through the cracks. I want to be able to ensure that you are successful at this. 2020, the last 2 years have been so flipping difficult. I want to change that right now. Everybody's sitting and waiting. They're just, wishing that things can change and blah, blah, blah. It's time to take action. And I'm seeing some names here without ever mentioning out loud in public here, but I know there's a lot of people that do have some money, and I have 2 or 3 people I can look right now that absolutely want to buy an apartment building. So I've shared with the challengers, we have a little 64 unit in Scottsdale that is all Airbnb now, all Airbnb. Instead of getting $1,700 per month for our units, we're getting $3,200 per month per unit. So do you see the difference of how that can immediately change your cash flow just like that? It is not more work. It is less work because the technology is 100 steps ahead of the game than if you were to rent it out on a regular basis, okay? So anyways, let me show you exactly here what I want to be able to do with you, okay? And of course, I've got so many in resources. So I've got some of you on this call right now that know my gold program, and you've paid over $40,000 to work with me. Folks, I work with really high-end people, okay? My fee is $100,000 if you want to work with me and get my cell phone for a year. But so many people say, how can you even justify that, Steve? Think about it, friends. And that's not what I'm charging here, okay? I promise. But if I'm able to help you get 5 properties in the next 6 months that give you $5,000 for the rest of your life, I hold your hand, I guide you, I kick you in the butt, I light a fire, I support you, I make sure you don't fall, I make sure you don't buy the wrong properties. What is $5,000 for the rest of your life for 40 grand? Nothing, okay? But that's not even what we're talking about here, because I'm creating something that even my son would be able to afford. That's the whole point, okay? So anyways, let me break down exactly what you would potentially get if you are to jump with me starting February 7th, okay? So hold on to your hats. I need you to follow me because this is huge for you. So the first thing I said, I've broken down 12 modules. So over the next 6 months, we're going to go step by step to building this new business for you, step by step, okay? So, nope, I did not test this. I'll break down the modules extremely fast, okay? First, we're building your business. I want you to look, sound, and feel like an investor. We may build a 1-page website. It's copy paste. I promise you don't need, you saw my skills on Excel. I build websites myself, okay? So super simple, but I need you to look professional. Why would a landlord want to lend the property to you? Why would somebody give you seller financing? Why would a lender want to lend you money if you look like nothing online? What's the first thing anybody's going to do in 2022? Google you. I want to make sure you're Googleable. That's simple, okay? So again, I'm thinking Jake's 14 years old. How do I make him look like a superhero? Super important, because we got to indoctrinate in every prospect's mind that you are super successful. You are huge just by looking visual, okay? Super simple. We're going to identify the big markets. So we've already kind of really broken it down, but I want you to pick it. I want you to go and find the right neighborhoods. We're going to call the barber shop. We're going to call the local stores around just to get an idea of what is happening in those markets. We're going to execute every single strategy. Now, today, I spent 3 minutes on that sheet. I want you to understand internally every single method there is to buying real estate. We're going to analyze deals like an expert, like we've been doing right now. Module 5, we're going to find the deals online everywhere, okay? Because if you're looking for deals on the MLS, you're looking where 97% of people are sitting. You got to be able to go private for sales, because unfortunately, I love realtors. Don't get me wrong. My realtors are my partners. I was a realtor. I owned a brokerage. I've hired hundreds of realtors in the past in my own brokerages, but they're the deal killers, because you can't do a no money down deal if the commission needs to be paid. That simple. So I got to show you how to find the proper deals, how to put them together, okay? Raising the money, because again, I want you to start buying at one point. When we have 5 properties in Oklahoma City and we're cash flowing $5,000 a month, you're going to start attracting a lot of interest from investors, okay? And we are at a pivotal point where people are taking their money out of the stock market. They're taking their money out of sorry, not gold. They're putting their money in gold, but they're taking their money out of everywhere. What are they going to do with that money? You need to show them how to cash flow like crazy in Airbnb, in apartment complexes, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, again, Airbnb is not the only strategy that we're going to be focusing on. It's just the quickest way to make money fast, period. Okay. How to negotiate, how to craft your offers or your leases with the landlords, how to conduct due diligence virtually. I remember, and it's funny because Rob, somebody that, oh my goodness, I think I sold him a house like 20 years ago, maybe 50, yeah, as a realtor, then became a student. And he said, Steve, do you remember when you used to ship by FedEx a camera that I would pay $70 to my contractors? We do not live in that world anymore. Zoom, phones. It is so easy to control a house remotely nowadays, okay? How to manage your property. I could go on and on and on and on and on, okay? But I've created this that there's no holes, but I'm making this super interactive so that you tell me where the holes are. What am I missing? What do you need to know? So I'm going to be your coach, literally. Okay. We have the technology that I'm able to serve at least 30 people without any issues. Okay. And that's my goal. So keeping on going here. Sorry, my mouse here is very bizarre, guys. There. Second, the community. So obviously we're going to create a community, guys. That's where I live and breathe. My community was on pause for 5-6 years now because I was just more retired. But the community is where you're capable of finding deals. This is where you're capable of assigning deals. This is where you find your partners, your investors, knowledge, support from me, support from my staff, support from the coaches. Super, super important. Okay. So the community. So right now, I have an app that's been designed. You can put it on your phone, but it doesn't work. So I've been sticking to Facebook, but it doesn't matter the platform as long as we're all together and it's user friendly. That's the goal. Okay. But the community is so huge because you know this. You are who you surround yourself with. Everybody's heard my story about Richard Branson. And if you haven't, it's online somewhere. But the moment I met with Richard Branson, he invited me to sleep on his island for a week. It changed my life forever because he put new heights. I mean, the man went to space. He imagined that in 1994. But if I hang around with people that keep complaining about money, keep complaining about politics, keep complaining about vaccinations and complaining and complaining and complaining, you're going to be a complainer that'll never achieve anything just like them. Okay. You need to surround yourself with people, all of us together. That's simple. That's a super important secret life lesson. We meet, like I said, we're going to meet 36 times. So once a week, we're going to meet on Zoom. I don't know the time in the day now. One, I hate late evenings. Because I'm up at 5 every morning and it's tough. But second, not many people can do it as well. So we're going to find a perfect time for all of us. I'm thinking a weekend's the easiest way. Look at us that all took some time together right now, maybe early in the mornings or something like that. But we want to be able to meet on Zoom so that I can answer your questions, so that, you know, everything. I'm here with you on this, and Jake, my son. Then we're going to do, I'm going to separate everybody that has the same identical, I say identical, but same goals and vision. And I'm going to put you in small groups, and once a month, we're going to meet about 10 people per group, maybe 12 max, so that I can personally give you a new plan every month. I want to make sure you're on the right track. You're following the right steps. If something continuously comes and arises as a challenge, maybe we need to reset sail a different way, and I'll be there. I'll be the one crafting that new blueprint for you on a monthly basis. Okay. So 60-minute, once a month. Again, we will coordinate, but I want it in a small group atmosphere where I'm forcing you to tell me where you are, what's your biggest obstacle, how can we condense that time so you attain that success as fast as possible. Okay. So, I mean, just those 4 things at the top, guys. You're literally with me step by step as I guide you. We're going to be doing this together. I'm not just guiding you, I'm doing it myself with my son. So you'll be following us along the way in different markets, maybe, and together. Okay. And then on top of that, quick start guide. I want you guys getting started on Monday immediately. Where to start, how to really, the whole goal is to make money as fast as possible. Okay. Super fast. So I give you the quick start guide, the reinvention method. I could speak on this for hours, but the reinvention method, guys, is something, I've written a book. It's not published yet. I've been writing it for 5 years now. I'm done the research. I've put it into play. I was able to lose 50 pounds last year. I was able to change my habits immediately like this because I've created a routine that is so simple to follow, takes about 15 minutes of your entire day. And anybody that knows me, guess what? Writing your goals twice a day, reflecting on your day and planning your day. It's really that simple. So I'm going to be launching a plan in March, a program in March on this, but I want everybody in this program, the mastery coaching program, to be able to jump in with me. Okay. So super huge, such important thing. The home study program. So I'm giving you guys pretty much everything I have in my repertoire here. Okay. I want this as affordable as possible, and I want everybody to jump in. There should be no reason you do not come onto this unless you're not serious about creating cash flow. That's it. But I told you, it is the safest investment you can make. It is the surest, quickest way for you to build cash flow. And the opportunities that are out there right now are ridiculous. Is it going to last for long? No. 2-3 years, I can see the markets becoming a little oversaturated. So we have a window of opportunity to build as much cash flow as possible to buy properties. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. So I'm giving you the home study program. The home study program I created about 12 years ago, but it really breaks down the basics of real estate. So this would be more for somebody that's just starting off. Okay. I've got the audio version. I believe my thick French accent is very, very obvious in those videos. Some people just like to get a kick out of it, just listening to them. Okay. So the audio, the green sheet that you've seen, obviously, but more importantly, I'm going to give you the multifamily green sheet because I know some people will want to purchase apartment complexes. I'd rather not name names, but I can see them on my screen right now. I know we've talked about it in the last couple of weeks, and I've said Right now, I'm not taking in any more personal clients because I'm creating this super special group that I'm presenting to you right now. But yes, apartment complexes, we will be focusing on that as well. Okay. It may not be something I'm going to put Jake in. Definitely not, but it's definitely something I'm going to consider. Now, here's everybody's going to start at the same place. Okay. We got to build that credibility. We got to build our presence. We got to talk accounting. How are we going to put our companies together? How are we going to get the financing, put the strategies? But then at about month 2, we're all going to split off. Some people will go the no money down route. Some people will go, I want to buy residential real estate. And some people will go in the commercial route. And yes, I can help you. In the apartment, it won't be like my platinum program, but I can definitely be there and support you along the way. Okay. Scripts, dialogues, every resource you can imagine, I'm going to give it to you because I need you to follow a script when you're calling these landlords. I need you to follow a script when you're calling a broker, a property owner. How do I talk to somebody, a seller? How do I approach seller financing, Steve? How do I educate somebody on subject twos? How can I really show them how they should be able to do this? So there's so many scripts. What if they give me an objection? What do I answer? I've got that in a manual. I've been training my staff for years on the acquisition departments. I'm going to hand it all over to you, or at least, and in the community, I can point you to where to go find what you need. Okay. The complete real estate glossary. That's something I need all of you guys to know by heart. Okay. So I just want to go back here. Remember, we're 12 modules together, 6 full months, where every day I'm going to give you a new video to implement, a new lesson, and a new action step to take that will help you in your business. You're going to be in the community every single day asking me your questions. You're stuck, I'm there. You need assistance, I'm there. You need resources, a connection. You need not seller financing. You need financing because you're a foreigner in Canada. I'm there. I've been doing this for 15 years, guys. I've got the world's best reputation when it comes to success. I've got all those tools. So unlimited support every single week on top of the community. You can also email, and we're going to meet face to face. I need your commitment, guys. I need your hour a day. I need your participation. I need you to be in this with me. Those are the people I want in this program. Okay. So the complete, my contracts alone, I've got over $1 million. You're going to do a private raise. You need, the contracts I've paid over $694,000 to be created. Yes, that much. If you're going to go in a publicly traded companies, you need those documents. I got templates for everything. And of course, they're all going to be available to you. And lastly, I'm going to donate $300 part of the tuition. Okay. To Haiti, because right now there's a massive problem happening in Haiti. There's lack of food, shortage of food. It's controlled by the mafia right now. The president was assassinated and there's no one that's really taking over. But more importantly, right now, the cost of living has doubled. So you know how we have 7% inflation, it went up about 50% over the last year and a half. And what I used to send for my 4 orphanages, we had to cut it down to 2. So I want to be able to get as much support as possible because the future of Haiti is at jeopardy because children can no longer go to school. It's $300 a month to go to school, per year to go to school. So I'm donating on that side. Okay. So I really want you to just imagine if we were to be in contact on a daily basis through the community, on a daily basis through my this is not regurgitated videos. This is all new. Okay, maybe once in a while I'll be like, well, why would I re-record if I already have done it, even if I had a lot more hair? But the content is going to be the same. But my point is that this is all new. I'm doing this with you, for myself, for my family, and I'm going to be guiding you through the process. Okay. So the question, very simply put, is what would that cash flow mean to you? Do you really want it? I've had some students that were not successful with my programs in the past. They paid $40,000 and they were not successful, while 90% were. We all have access to the same resources. And I'm going to tell you now, if you're like, and you're not going to take massive action during this program, don't do it, please. I'm really looking for serious people. I need to see you showing up every day on the community, posting a hi, posting I did 10 calls today, posting me updates so that I can ensure that you're committed and you keep going, okay? Because that's what it is I'm going to be there as your coach to hold you accountable. That's what's super important, okay? So what does it really mean? Now, I know I'm going through this here over and over, guys, but I just want to get to it super simply. I used to charge $40,000 for this kind of attention because my time is most valuable. But because I am doing it for myself, for my son, and I will be, to be honest, I'm having fun. I miss this. Maybe it's COVID, 2 years in my house, not going out. But I am having so much fun during these challenges. I want to have fun with you over the next 6 months. I'm willing to drop my coaching fees for the price of a course. Here you have it, friends. Everybody should be able to jump in my program. Everyone, zero excuse. $3,000 up front, or I've even broken it down into 6 payments. I've broken it down into 3 payments, okay? I will make sure you make that $5,000 to $10,000 per month in the next 6 months. If you are hesitant, if you are not sure, I am going to guarantee the entire program for 6 months. So on the 5th month, on the 30th day, at the 11th hour, you say, Steve, I took the entire thing and it didn't work. I will reimburse you. Okay? I am putting my money where my mouth is. I need you to go sign up right now, martelmasterycoaching.com. Crystal, can you quadruple check the darn thing works? And it's not a stupid broken link. I keep emailing you guys broken links. The program is going to start on February 7th. And which is not this Monday, but the following Monday, I'm almost certain. I will make sure that you're up and running right now in the next week, up to date with everything, the strategies. On Monday, we're starting from scratch. And my goal, I will consider this a success if all of you make $5,000 a month in passive income. Okay. Now, when I first started my coaching program that I keep saying was $40,000, the first round was dirt cheap as well. Okay. Because that's how I created the program. I get the feedback and then the price goes up. And I'm somebody that likes high-end pricing because it gets the committed people. It holds you accountable a lot more. It's not because it's only $3,000 and it's, you know, the price of a Canadian. I did that for you guys. Yes. But I put it at a price that could be put on a credit card and paid back with the new profits you're going to be making. Okay. So, my bonus little ninja, that's this slide. I forgot that this was my template. If you sign up right now for the first 10 people, I'll do a one-on-one call with you. Okay. I promise we're going to do a call next week so that I can really hear where you are. And then I can bring you through the step-by-step process that I would take if I was in your shoes, your immediate action. That'll be your first blueprint, one-on-one. And then throughout the 6 months, that's where we're going to meet in a small group. I'm going to pull my notes and I'm going to make sure, okay, this is what we originally talked about. Here's the steps you should be taking. What are the biggest obstacles and how can I help you overcome it? Okay. So first 10 people, because I can't have that many one-on-one calls, obviously. But you guys know your options. You know success. You know that you need a coach to be able to walk you through the process. Yes, you could do this yourself, but it'll take 3 to 5 years to accumulate the cash flow you want that I can shrink in a 6 months time frame. My reputation is absolutely everything. My word means anything, and that's why I'm going to give you a 6-month guarantee. If you're not sure, do it, because it's guaranteed. Okay. I believe in what we can do together. I want to make sure that you as well. Okay. So this is pretty much what I'm getting at is you got two options. If you really want that cash flow, if you really want to control 2022, you want a better car, a better house, or start buying apartment complexes, we need to build that cash flow to be able to put it towards. But to me, I keep telling everyone, you're literally one property away from living the life of your dream, because once you do your first deal, the momentum you build is insane. Absolutely outrageous. You're going to be unstoppable. The going joke is I have such a hard time convincing people to pull the trigger on their first deal as a coach. But then when it comes to the second deal, I got to reel them back and make sure they remember the fundamentals, right? So, that momentum is extremely insane. If you go to our website, reviews.stevemartel.com, you're going to find thousands upon tens of thousands of success stories that I've been able to create. I know I'm supposed to play videos. I know, no, I don't want to sell you into this idea. I teach sales. I could remove all your limiting beliefs and I could replace fantastic ones and I could convince you to buy, but I want you to do it for your own reasons, not because I'm a great salesperson. That's not the idea. I want you to do this for the right reasons. I need that extra cash flow for me. I need to start buying more real estate for my children. I need to be able to change things around. We don't know if a new variant's going to come, a new government's going to do shutdowns. We don't know. I mean, I'm in Ottawa. There's a massive convoy right now of trucks right now for their Freedom Rally. People are sick and tired of the lack of control. And that's what I'm offering you right now is a way, a path that I'm going to do with you to make this happen. Okay. And again, guaranteed. I could go on for days on end. I promised that this would have been 3 hours. We are now 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I will consider that a success because I am usually terrible at this. Within 12 minutes, I believe, we found ourselves 2 deals. It was 3 deals. One was crap. We removed it. But 2 were fantastic. If I can compel you, inspire you, motivate you, and persuade you that every single day to find 10 of these properties, analyze them on a weekly basis, how many landlords are you going to get that say yes? Property owners that are going to say yes to seller financing. You're going to hear 90 no's, but those 10 yeses is all it takes. We're going to spend 36 weeks together. We can do this. No excuses. So I'll meet you there, guys. So again, February 7th, it starts. More importantly, one-on-one calls will start next week because I want to give you a personal plan that we're going to follow through, as it's going to be basically our curriculum, your personal blueprint and curriculum for the next 6 months. martelmasterycoaching.com. There's every single detail you can imagine. Don't get stuck in the details. Click join now. Sign up. The 3 payment options are there. I highly recommend the $3,000. Get rid of it. You don't have to pay fake interest and that kind of stuff. And let's get her done. Okay, guys? So everybody from the challenge to anybody that's brand spanking new, and this is the first time we see each other in 15 years, 10 years, 12, whatever it is. Let's take it to the next level. Don't give up. Don't quit. Push. Okay? I know you can do this. I know you can do this. So because of the time, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to go pick up our children. And I'm a little tired. I want to wish you guys a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic weekend, and welcome everybody that's already signing up. Thank you. It's limited, okay, guys. I'm not taking more than 30 people. Period. I have to cap it so that I can help you really one-on-one. If you say, Steve, I'd like to have a little more. I know some of you, Steve, if I can have your personal cell phone and we can start jumping in apartments right now. I need you to go through this process here and let's talk about it next week together. Okay. Because I've got other options to make sure you build those $10,000, $20,000 a month cash flows on buildings. So that's all I have for you, my friends. This was fantastic. I hope you saw the value in it. I really, really hope. And I hope that more importantly, I was able to convince you inside that you got to do this. It's scary, lack of control when it's out of state like that. But I've seen it done hundreds of thousands of times with my own students. I've done it through my portfolios. I've controlled over $1 billion worth of real estate. So it's not a brand spanking new thing here for me. I truly believe in you. I know you can do this if you allow me to push you. Allow me to inspire and motivate and keep you going. You need to be surrounded by the right people. Okay. And I want to be that person for you guys. So again, $3,000 for an entire coaching program for 6 months with me. My fee's $100,000. So if that doesn't compel you or convince you that I'm really trying to help as many people as possible, I've broken it down in monthly payments. For some reason, if you want to do an email transfer, go ahead. Do we have an email?
Yeah, accounting at.
Do you want to write that in the chat? If you want to do email transfer, just email us. I'll make sure Crystal's on top of the emails in the next few days, not just our customer service, so we can assist you. But that's it, guys. I love you very much. I really wish you the best of the best of the best in the world. And let's talk next week. I'm excited to see what your goals are and how I can help you do it. MartelMasteryCoaching.com. Take care, guys.